Alright, welcome back to the party, everybody. This is Morty, and I am your host, Lutch, aka TheIndianJesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Everybody hit that like and subscribe. You know I would do it for you, and let's party. Welcome, 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 everybody. Always a pleasure to see you guys. So you know that we cover Andrew Wilson debates all the time. And I was not aware that he did a bunch more stuff than that. So he has this show called The Extravaganza, and I just happened to see this as I was setting up the previous stream on Wednesday. I did very much miss you guys on Friday, but sorry, yeah, was not able to do that. But we are back in action, and yeah, while I was setting up that stream, I saw them live, and I was like, oh, cool, what is this? And it is a Rumble exclusive, so we are gonna jump right into it. As always, guys, if you can't hear the video, please do let me know.
The face of intellectual evil is here. A man who weaponizes rational discourse against reason itself. Now, maybe some of you don't know what the fuck that means, and I don't blame you because I don't know what the fuck it means either, because it's just a bunch of intellectual stupid speak is what it is, right? It means nothing. I'd like to thank you all for coming in. I'd like to thank all of you for coming to today's episodes of The Extravaganza. Today we're here with Dave Smith. He's going to be our special guest. We have another special guest coming on next week, every week. Make sure you give him some crowns in chat. Now, Dave Smith is, I'm told, Jewish, so he's not going to buy a membership, but, and somehow probably I'm going to end up owing him money. I don't know how, somehow I'm going to probably end up owing him money, but since he's not going to buy a membership, that means all of you have to buy memberships. Make sure
sign up as a disciple today.
That you like the stream. We found a way to game the system. If you like the stream and we get enough likes, we can get right on the top Rumble stream for the day, and that is the goal.
And that is how I found this. So the likes really do help, guys.
We also have a goal of 5,000 members in 90 days. I feel like we can do it. So make sure you go buy everything now, unlike our friend Mr. Smith. And also as far as the content of the show today, we're going to be starting off with a daily cringe, moving into a new segment called We Was Kangs, followed by a little bit more of the Riot stuff that's going on. And with that, get right into the show. Dave, how the hell are you, man? It's nice to see you.
Very good. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be the first special guest. Please, my only rule is do not weaponize rational discourse against me.
Yeah, I'll try not to. Against your reason itself, Dave.
Yes, you could.
Can't weaponize it against your reason itself.
Shout out to Ty Cobb in the building. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. I just knocked over my seltzer, so I'm going to need to re-seltzerize that. But give me 1 second. We will let it ride. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party.
Dave, take a moment right here at the beginning to go ahead, plug your show, tell everybody where they can find you, and just briefly a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Well, I'm Dave. I'm a stand-up comedian and a podcaster. My show is called Part of the Problem, and then my comedy show is Legion of Skanks. And I'm also a touring stand-up comedian. So comicdavesmith.com is where you can find all my road dates. That's all.
Now you know that you can't say faggot on Rumble.
Ooh, can you?
You can. Yeah, it is. I really like. I just wanted to let you know that I thought that guy Murray you debated was kind of a faggot. But anyway, with that said, I wanted to hop right into the content and get your take on a few things.
I'm a Christian.
That's fine.
I'm a Christian, and I can tell you all the scriptures.
Go for it.
Now, Dave, I don't know about you, but anytime I see a woman who's wearing a shirt like this and she says she can tell you all of the scriptures while she's holding her cell phone in her hand, I am a bit skeptical.
Well, I mean, listen, you're more of the expert on this than I am, and if there's one thing I'm known for, I always defer to experts.
Well,
have you been
here, Dave? I've actually been there. Okay,
so you have. That just right away seems like something I would never hear come out of a Christian's mouth. I could tell you all the scriptures.
I can tell you all the scriptures, not some of them. Like, not
like
I can tell you all of them. Okay,
like that's a pretty bold claim.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I had a chick tell me the other day, she goes, I'm reading a woman's Bible at the moment, and actually Jesus only ever approached women. And I thought, what? Did you just, only ever approached women. They know all the scriptures.
What does that even mean?
They know all the scriptures.
Let's go.
All right. Thoughts and abominations.
No, it's not.
Okay, 1 Corinthians.
Just instantly. No, it's not.
Where in the Bible does it say that?
1 Corinthians 6:9,
No, it
Romans
doesn't.
1:26.
No, it doesn't.
So pull it up.
Homosexuality wasn't in the Bible until 1946.
Which version was that?
It was the
that?
version of NIV
No, it wasn't.
Sorry.
and the King James Bible.
No.
Nope, it wasn't. Nope.
Yes.
So King James Bible has sodomite, which translates in Greek.
No, it does not. Sodom was the sin of abusing the foreigner.
Well, I'm telling you what the word sodom is.
Well, there was a little bit of like angel rape that was thrown in there. I just want to kind of point that out for Sodom. It wasn't just about like not, being hospitable to foreigners. It was, they were going to actually rape an angel. I'm
going to have to defer to you Christians on that one.
I just wanted to point that out, that she kind of had this a little bit wrong, Dave.
Okay. Yep. I do remember that part now that you bring it up.
Yep. There was they were trying to throw a little angel rape in there. I'm just saying.
What's
Okay.
wrong
So
with that?
a little bit more daily cringe. I think that you'll like her, Dave. She's real pretty.
Jesus.
Sons of a bitch.
Is she though?
That think that you're just gonna go and fucking arrest a bunch of protesters because they're out there doing something you're too afraid to fucking do. They're out there fighting for our freedom, and they're out there fighting for our right for free speech, because fuck you.
I mean, she's got one thing right. I am genuinely afraid to go and riot in public. That is true.
I was just wondering your take so far, Dave. You can see that she's clearly mentally stable and
Great
has her
freeze
shit
frame.
together. Yeah, exactly. I'm sure that's a position she's found herself in a few times.
Well, it is like, it's funny because even as like, there's been kind of like a cultural shift, it seems like, over the last year, and like wokeism has kind of receded, it felt like, for a little while, and then we're kind of seeing this stuff as these riots popped off a few days ago.
That's what it is. The groupies, the Jesus groupies. Shout out to Don Petrick. I think I know who this is. Welcome. Said, will not let me communicate with your account on any computer or browser with my TV account. Huh. Interesting. Well, let me see. Maybe there was something that I hit hide you from the channel by accident. Let me look into that. Either way, welcome to the party. And yes, the PayPal is fixed. Welcome. Dive it back in.
Seems like over the last year, and like wokeism has kind of receded, it felt like, for a little while, and then we're kind of seeing this stuff as these riots popped off a few days ago. But it is like a kind of important reminder for all of us that, like, there's millions of people like this, and they're gonna, they're having children, they're raising another generation, and it's like, geez, I'm not even claiming to like have exactly what the answer is, but like, holy fuck, how do you even share a country with people like this? And I think it's a real challenge for all of us.
Yeah, I mean, I was in LA recently, and
remind me near the end of the stream, or when you got to leave. I know there's somewhere on the thing where it's like hidden or blocked people. I don't think that happened, but if I did do that by accident, that would have that would be it. Yeah, that does sound like I would, that if you hide someone from your channel. But I certainly would have done that on purpose. But anyway, I don't know where it is right now, but I definitely will get on top of that tonight. Thank you for letting me know.
The answer is, but like, holy fuck, how do you even share a country with people like this? And I think it's a real challenge for all of us.
I mean, the scary part is that people like this, we're always out there. It's just that now they're able to find each other and organize themselves. This used to be just somebody who would be, an old cat lady that everybody on the block knows to stay away from her. But because she's on TikTok, now there's a whole community of people to be like, yeah, I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I mean, I was in LA recently, and it just smacked me in the face that, oh shit, maybe online they get
LA riots
getting destroyed, but in West Hollywood and all of these different places, it's alive and well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, it is.
All 2,000 of you fucking National Guardsmen, you brave ass fucking soldiers, you think you're gonna march in those streets and tell those people to shut the fuck up?
Well, in fact, now, Dave,
you mad, bro?
We're going to rib you a little bit for being a libertarian here. Maybe you don't like the National Guard coming in there, but I've got to say that the highlight of my evenings has been watching the cops beat the fuck out of these people every single night. And it's with great joy that I watch this. Does that make me a bad Christian, Dave?
No, not at all. I haven't really watched as much footage of it. Like, I get what it is, but I'm totally with Andrew on the point that they asked for this shit.
No.
No.
Prove it. Prove it.
I'm all for it, man. I'm for shutting this shit down by any means necessary. And well, it's like, look, when you, because I've seen a couple of like your debates, I think on like on the Whatever podcast, where you
Whatever podcast. Have we ever seen him on the Whatever podcast? I don't know. Shout out to Don with the $10 PayPal. Thank you so very, very much, sir. Of course, every donation comes with a treat for Morty, and that starts us off on the swole goal. It's summer, guys. I got rid of the sleeve, so you cannot get away from how puny I am. I need your help. 15 supers of any amount, or 15 donations of any amount, or $50 total, and I gotta do 20 push-ups. Don's got us started. Thank you so very, very much. Of course, that makes you the new sponsor of the stream. Very much appreciated.
means necessary. And well, it's like, look, when you, because I've seen a couple of like your debates, I think on the Whatever podcast, where you've debated like girls who have claimed to be Christians, and then you'll be like, but you do hardcore porn, and they're like, yeah, but I'm a Christian, And it's like, in the same sense, the term Christian, the term liberal, the term libertarian have all, it's like they're basically meaningless at this point. Like if you can do hardcore porn out of wedlock and be a Christian, then what does it mean to be a Christian? It just means nothing.
That's
again,
true.
Exactly.
All the labels gone.
And this is exactly, let's shout out again our sponsor. Very, very, very much appreciated. As with what's her name, Nala Ray, when she was doing her transition to be a Christian, and then there was someone else that followed suit quickly after, and then there was the Russell Brand thing when he got the allegations, and it's just like if anybody can be in the club just by saying I'm in the club now, well then what is the club? And I don't even mean that it should be exclusive, that other people shouldn't be able to get in, but there has to be some parameters of what this group is that is Christians in order for it to mean anything. And it seems like those barriers to entry are just falling away. But hey, you guys say that Christianity is the only way, so I'll stick with you.
If you can do hardcore porn out of wedlock and be a Christian, then what does it mean to be a Christian? It just means nothing.
That's
what do you think?
True. All the labels gone, right? All the labels is gone.
That doesn't mean you should abandon the term Christian or you should stop being a Christian, but it's just like what people claim is Christianity is meaning. I found this real interesting with like the guys who have tried to use the term classical liberal, and none of them mean classical liberal by that. They all mean like 90s liberal. You know what I mean? Which is like a totally different thing. Like they're like, no, liberalism, but right before this latest iteration of it.
Yeah.
And
libertarianism plus gay.
Right. And so there's a lot of that. There's a lot of, and I'm not saying it's unfair in a way. It's like, I guess, we all got to inherit the baggage of people who use our term that we don't think are using it properly. But to me, if the starting points of libertarianism is like a belief in non-aggression and private property rights, then like by definition, you have to oppose a riot. A riot is the most unlibertarian thing you could have. It is by...
Yeah, I mean, just straight up. Shout out to Arrow. No question, no comment, just pure love of the game. Thank you. So very, very much. And of course, that adds to the swole goal, guys. That's 2 out of 15 and 12 out of 50. Hey, yo, what is this all about? What did I do? Well, welcome to the party.
A belief in non-aggression and private property rights, then like by definition, you have to oppose a riot. A riot is the most unlibertarian thing you could have. It is by definition destroying property, assaulting people, a total collapse of order and the rule of law. And like, I don't know, you don't have the right to set cars on fire and intimidate people and terrorize civilians. And you also, I don't think you have the right to do whatever you want to do on public property. Like it's from the libertarian position, it's kind of like, well, this was forcibly taken, or funds were forcefully taken from the population to build and maintain this property. But it doesn't follow from that therefore, like, do I have a right to
not with your guys' help
go lay down on a freeway and just block traffic? I don't think I do.
And obstruct people.
Yeah, it's like
I gave a libertarian take this morning. It was one of the few that I have, which is, police and military, though, I don't think they deter these riots as well as just letting people pack heat wood.
Yes, well, that's a good.
wherever people can't pack heat. You know where I've never seen out here in the countryside? A fucking riot. now, Dave, I just want to point out, I think the reason is because we would shoot their balls off, right? Like that's what would.
And that's one of the biggest things that, like, understanding it's a cliche, but the best way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. That understanding what that actually entails and how that actually plays out in society actually makes a lot of sense. But liberal propaganda is so good at just making it seem like gun equals bad, that to even suggest that, you know, there could be people who are not bad people and use these guns to protect themselves and other people. It's not even something that can fit within the moral, or not moral, but I guess a political framework that you've created for yourself.
Happen.
It's definitely one of the big reasons, you know, and I do think there's a really important point to that, and there's an important insight, which is that.
Is that true? I feel like if there's muscle to go through, it's not like if I add muscle that I'm getting rid of bone or anything. So if you gotta put a nail through me, then how does adding muscle help? I would think that jacked Jesus is harder to nail the cross. Just saying.
Definitely one of the big reasons, you know, and I do think there's a really important point to that, and there's an important insight, which is that this is a tough uphill battle as a libertarian to try to argue. I understand that. But the truth is that it's easy to look at, like, say, like the big cities in California that have been completely destroyed and go, well, look, you know, they kind of decriminalize drugs and they, you know, whatever. It's like, oh, this is what libertarianism leads to or something like that. But the truth is that people miss the fact that there's enormous state intervention to facilitate all of this. And part of I don't know if you, like, there were a couple big stories out of New York over the last few years where, like, if you try to defend yourself against these crazies,
shout out to Daniel Benny,
they throw the book at you.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
They're all of a sudden.
And who was the other guy? The store owner, where I can't remember his name, but there was an older guy. I think he was like 60, and he owned a little bodega in New York City, and some chick goes in, and I think she didn't want to pay for the chips, or they raised the price on the chips or something, or she, you know, some bullshit. And she's with her kid, and she throws the bags of chips at him and storms out with her kid. And then big dude, her boyfriend, comes back in to literally beat him up for not giving her the chips at the price that she wanted. Now, in the scuffle, so he goes, this is a big dude, and we're talking about a 60-year-old store owner. So he's going, and he's teeing off. Luckily for the guy, there was a box cutter there. He was able to reach the box cutter and saved his life. Threw the book at him. And that was that Letitia James? I don't think I think it might have been Alvin Bragg, but either way, exactly what he is talking about. Shout out to DJ Isolated. Welcome to the party. Yeah. Let's look that up. Hold on. Yeah. ChatGPT, who, or let's say, what was the name of the store owner who was charged with murder after he was attacked and was able to use a box cutter to defend himself? That's got to be specific enough. I know. All right. Jose Alba. Yep, that was it. The store owner in question, Jose Alba, 61-year-old bodega clerk in New York City. He was charged with second-degree murder after defending himself with a box cutter during and then here, let's do a little side quest here in case we forgot what we're talking about. That New York City is in the business of putting people like this. Oh, that's the wrong one. In jail. And I don't mean the one committing the crime. That is not what that said. What the hell?
Well, another developing story, we're following the Manhattan DA dropping second-degree murder charges against a Hamilton Heights bodega worker.
Jose Alba was charged after a deadly confrontation with a customer. Linda Schmidt is outside that bodega in Hamilton Heights for us tonight with the new developments. Linda.
He had stabbed 35-year-old Austin Simon multiple times after Simon came.
So his girl was over here on the other side. This is behind the counter. So his girl was doing whatever. I don't even remember what it is. Again, it was some bullshit. And she walks out. He comes in, and you can see the size difference. I mean, he's sitting now. He did just
Stabbed 35-year-old Austin Simon multiple.
But you can see the size difference here. Like, this is a big dude, and this is a little old man. And
times after Simon came behind the counter at the bodega and shoved Alba into the wall. After Alba had gotten into an argument with Simon's girlfriend. Well, today the mayor was asked again about this and about what he thought about the DA dropping the charge. We also spoke with a bodega association leader, and here is what they both had to say.
So that's clear and obvious self-defense. But and I mean, luckily they did eventually drop the charges. But the fact that he was arrested in the first place is a travesty. So that's exactly what Dave is talking about here.
Truth is that people miss the fact that there's enormous state intervention to facilitate all of this. And part of I don't know if you there were a couple big stories out of New York over the last few years where if you try to defend yourself against these crazies, they throw the book at you.
Oh, yeah.
They're all of a sudden it's not as if there's not power of the state. Let one
second degree murder. Shout out to Richard Hardy in the building. Welcome to the party. So they were out of backwoods. Oh God. Oh man. Yeah, maybe. I'm pretty sure it was something to do with chips, but it was some. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there, but you brought us there and we're there. So I'm with you. Absolutely glad they dropped the charges. I mean, there's no way that would have even held up. It's so obviously clear. I mean, there was no crime committed. And I mean, even a public defender should have been able to get him off that. The point is, he should have never been charged in the first place, but for better or worse, the justice system, as terrible as it can be sometimes, is the best that we have. At least I think, right? That's what they say.
To defend yourself against these crazies, they throw the book at you.
Oh, yeah.
They're all of a sudden it's not as if there's not power of the state. Let one of these stores try to defend their own property with a gun in San Francisco or in Los Angeles. They'll give you 30 years in jail for it. They will ruin your life. And so there is it is, from my perspective, a lot of that state intervention that creates so much of this problem. That if you had stand your ground laws and concealed carry, no
national
permits, just allowed. If you had that, dude, it'd clean up this stuff a lot faster than the authorities.
Guarantee it. It would clean it up within a matter of days. If you allow people to defend their businesses, these rioters and protesters get pushed out quickly. We're going to keep going here with a clip.
And again, I think that was the number one thing that that red pilled me, is understanding that gun equals bad is a stupid and naive way to look at the world. I think the abortion thing was also very big, understanding that life scientifically and very clearly begins at conception. But yeah, those two things, once you cross that bridge, there ain't no going back. Like they say, if you're not liberal when you're young, you got no heart. But if you don't get more conservative as you're older, you got no brain.
Stupid. That is what you decided to fight for. You chose to defend us against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and you.
Now, she brings up a good point. The military did take an oath, a solemn oath, to defend us from all enemies, both foreign
and domestic.
Now, I don't know about you, Dave, but I see this as a domestic invasion, which has been facilitated by another nation on our soil, where they're flying this country's flag in the streets while they are hurting our citizens and burning down our businesses.
And even if you disagree with that, to act as if it is ridiculous to come to that conclusion is just not in good faith.
Isn't the military supposed to protect us from those people?
Well, it's right. And is the idea here that everyone in the world has a right to come here? Is it the case that if, hypothetically speaking, if Pakistan, nuked India tomorrow and 500 million Indians wanted to come here, is that just their right? And we just have no option except to go, well, we just lose the United States.
Oh, hell no.
I am very much Indian American and not Indian. But still, we ain't taking in that many Indians.
America
As long as
forever,
they're
that's
healthy,
it.
Dave. Dave, as long as they're
Yeah,
healthy
right,
and not
right.
criminals. Yeah.
This- I've heard this argued.
Would you want 1 million? My mind's in the gutter today. I
Just
can't
have
say
no
that.
option except to go, well, we just lose the United States of America
As long as
forever,
they're
that's
healthy,
it.
Dave. Dave, as long as they're
Yeah,
healthy
right,
and not
right.
criminals. Yeah.
This
yeah.
is, I've heard this argued. But it's just so insane. I mean,
don't forget that it's generations back before there's anybody who actually lived in or was born in India. My family is Caribbean. So let's get that straight.
like the idea that you're going to say that what essentially anybody else can come here. There is absolutely no standard, and the population here has no rights to say like we have some limit. I mean, the thing about it is that America takes in more legal immigrants than any other country in the world.
Million
We're
and
already,
a year.
Yeah, we have the most generous immigration policy by our legal standards, and then on top of that, we've had like tens of millions of illegals come in. No one knows what the number is, but it's much higher than what they say it is.
Of course it is.
I don't
1 billion immigrants.
know if you ever read Ann Coulter's book Adios America.
Adios America, yeah. But
Very
those
good.
were numbers from years ago.
Yes.
It has drastically increased, especially under the Biden administration. It would not surprise me if there was somewhere upwards of 50 million illegals lost in this nation.
She goes through it,
Ooh,
and
that's a good question. That's a good question. So most of you here are saying, no, I didn't realize that Andrew Wilson did anything other than these debates. So I'm gonna, how should we do this? So I'm gonna give you 2 numbers. And the question is, which of these numbers is closer to what you think is the actual number of illegal immigrants in this country? So it's not going to be, I think it's this many, or I think it's this many. It's, I think this number is closer than that number.
To go.
Yes.
It has drastically increased, especially under the Biden administration. It would not surprise me if there was somewhere upwards of 50 million illegals lost in this nation.
She goes through it, and she has a very strong case for putting it at 30 million. And this is before Donald Trump's first term.
Oh,
so forget
Jesus.
a lot of immigrants came in under Donald Trump's first term, and the record highs came in under Biden's. So like, but then I'll see people go, and then it's like, they'll be like, well, there's 15 million, undocumented workers in this country. And I'm like, they used to say 12 in the year 2000.
Yeah, I know.
Like how exactly, do this math for me.
This nothing. Okay, here's D.
Okay, so I'm putting out this poll, and I need you to think about it, because neither of these numbers are going to be very accurate. The question is it closer? So let me know what you think. I'm not a number, I'm a free man.
A famous TikToker who I enjoy destroying all the time. And he's about to give us a life lesson in logic, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, Jesus. Arguments against homosexuality debunked by Dean Withers.
It's wrong because it's unnatural.
Oh, of course. We gotta have the Southern twang, because anybody who votes this way must talk like this. Forrest Gump, stupid is, stupid does.
TikToker who I enjoy destroying all the.
Should we call that a projection? Why not? Projection.
time. And he's about to give us a life lesson in logic, ladies and gentlemen.
A is wrong because it's unnatural.
By the way, this is not an argument that conservatives use, because it would be a naturalistic fallacy. So it would just be dismissed. It would be an irrelevant argument. But as you can see, what the progressives like to do, straw man the position of the other side, and then argue with themselves as though they're arguing with you, the conservative.
False. Being gay is natural. We observe same-sex intercourse in over 3,000 animal species.
Now, I just want to point this out for any of you, a quick philosophy lesson. Even if it was the case that all animals were gay, it still wouldn't mean that human beings, that it was natural for them to be gay. You see how that works? Like, that's just basic logic again. This is.
I mean, I think that I think that's an external claim. So I definitely think that the There is a combination of humans who are born in a way that they are more oriented towards liking the same sex, but there is also things that can happen in your life that affects your sexuality, and is a perversion of what is supposed to be. But if you're going to refute the fact that animals are gay, and so it is natural, but not in humans, well, then you need to present something that differentiates humans from other animals in that category. So I'm just saying, we got to keep it a buck. We got to keep it a buck.
And the position of the other side, and then argue with themselves as though they're arguing with you, the conservative.
False. Being gay is natural. We observe same-sex intercourse in over 3,000 animal species.
Now, I just want to point this out for any of you, a quick philosophy lesson. Even if it was the case that all animals were gay, it still wouldn't mean that human beings, that it was natural for them to be gay.
Shout out to Brandon Murphy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So glad I wasn't attending a No Kings protest, because I'd rather worry about my family and life rather than getting myself into trouble and shenanigans. That's exactly the first video that they showed. We're like, someone's out there doing what you're too afraid to do. It's like, yes, I have a brain, so I am afraid to go and openly break the law in violent ways. I don't know what kind of flex you think that is. But the other thing is that outside of these hubs, where in LA and even New York City, you see a lot of movement with this. Most places, it's old people. It's old people. What was I watching? Let's see if I can find. I was watching something. God damn it! Was it the? Let's see. We'll do a little side quest here. But welcome to the party, brother. And completely agreed. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about? It was something to do with the riots and how it was all old people. Was it this? I don't think it was this. Give me a second here. No, it wasn't this far back. It was definitely today. And then we can check this, but the other thing would be, where are you? Not the prankster, not the drunk mom. Okay, so let's see if this is what we're talking about. So
I want the people of Los Angeles to know that we stand with all Angelenos, no matter where you were born. There is a history of having peaceful protests here. I tell you that. Organized.
I love the juxtaposition.
That's not peaceful, what was happening. It's not peaceful for people to be on the highways. It's not peaceful for people to throw rocks or
correct
bottles. That's not peaceful.
So she said it's
So you're saying that's what you're going to see in the city hubs.
not peaceful. Even she says that.
Jory, we've seen a very rapid escalation.
I think it's pretty impressive that they managed to blame the fact that all their citizens are totally fucking schizoing out, setting cars on fire. They're trying to blame that on Donald Trump. And the fact is that none of these people are ever being held accountable. This is a person who's like getting inside of the car. Like literally, like you're looking at burning cars. Someone almost got banned for filming a crime.
This wasn't it. Let's play.
Today, following the money on No King's Day, it's been relatively tame, but let me set this up for you. $150 million in damages.
And I got okay, I think this was it. I think this is it. Where we're talking about just old fucking people.
Montage. So let me give you some footage that we have exclusively. This is what they're around, and it's a significantly older demographic.
Yes. Okay. I found it. I knew how to remember it. So before we dive in, what did I miss from you guys? Yeah, Brandon saying definitely not getting into shenanigans. Ty said more animals are gay than anyone imagines. Right, and I'm willing to accept the notion that there is a difference between other animals having same-sex relations and humans, but you have to present that. You have to present that. You don't just get to say that. So, fair enough. Brandon said the riots at LA are a distraction from the cartel corruption. It feels like they're trying to hide what's going on. Well, what's going on? What are they hiding? You said mostly peaceful LARPing and partying. But the timing was interesting. It always is. It always
selectively
is.
Editing this because we have boots on the ground, and it's a significantly older demographic.
Yeah, we have a couple of whenever we want to go to it, just some stuff, just a bit from New York City.
I didn't necessarily think about it this way. I was thinking like, oh, it's just the old people who were already. I don't know because the older Democrats, they're the never Trumpers more than anybody else. I think the even more than the far leftists, because it's not some radical revolution. They see the government as a stable institution and Trump as something that's rattling that stability. So whatchamacallit, the fact that they're the ones that are activated by this is not necessarily them having more influence, but they are getting out and protesting. I skipped what? So there you go. Check out The Truth About Animals by Lucy Cook.
Yeah. We have a couple of, whenever we want to go to it, just some stuff, just a bit from New York City, and a couple of them. There's another video coming soon. I think it's from Chicago as well.
Okay.
So just as a recap.
Well, before that, let me show you the, clip only montage. So let me give you some footage that we have exclusively. This is what they're showing you on CNN, but this is what it actually has looked like thus far today. No, King's been pretty tame, but that could be due to the fact that most of these people there are dying.
Okay. All right, I got you. Yep, I got you.
I gotta go to the protest. They're still going.
The Burger King crown's on.
That's an urgent care.
Yeah. It's their last rights.
By the way, anytime you see a AARP card holder.
Hey, fair enough, but then just if somebody presents this argument about gay animals, then don't be like, no, like Andrew Wilson here. Fair enough.
It's their last rights.
By the way, anytime you see a AARP card holder, drink. So here you go.
Oh, here we go. Had to sip it up.
Got a good one tonight. Ooh.
Yeah, that's what
Just spelled rally wrong.
Oh boy.
You are the community to this president.
Head of the American Federation of Teachers
And
Union.
together we build a future of opportunity
calm down, lady.
and justice for all. Hope over fear, aspiration over anger.
Jumps don't match her energy.
No, they don't.
And so I guess the question is, going back to what DJ said, that the older left has been activated. Is it that they have been activated more than they were before, or is it the fact that these are the same people that were always never Trump and the weather happens to be nice? I don't have the answer, but it is an interesting question. All right, let's dive back into Dean talking about gay animals. Randy just stepped down. Randy who? What are we talking about, Willis? What you talking about, Willis?
For conservative.
False. Being gay is natural. We observe same-sex intercourse in over 3,000 animal species.
Now, I just want to point this out for any of you, a quick philosophy lesson. Even if it was the case that all animals were gay, it still wouldn't mean that human beings, that it was natural for them to be gay.
Technically, even in the way that he just said that, it would, unless you're saying that animals are, or excuse me, unless you're saying that humans are not animals. Because if all animals experience this, that would include humans.
You see how that works? Like, that's just basic logic again.
Again, basic logic. If it happens in all animals, and humans are animals, then it happens in humans, naturally. That's the argument that Andrew is putting forth.
This is quite the failure, by the way. Quite the failure.
I agree, Andrew. I agree.
Bonobos are a great ape species. We observe same-gender intercourse within their species all of the time.
Gross.
We also see that 10% of youth will exclusively engage in same-sex intercourse and will actually refuse to engage in opposite-sex intercourse. We've also seen.
Yeah, but what about all of the killing that bonobos do with each?
Oh, that was the jumping lady. Like, we're gonna do it, and we're here for success or something. Good. Except the only question is somebody worse gonna take her place?
We also see that 10% of youth will exclusively engage in same-sex intercourse and will actually refuse to engage in opposite-sex intercourse. We've also seen.
Yeah, but what about all of the killing that bonobos do with each other? How about the bonobos rip each other
But
apart?
that's natural.
Is it bonobos or bonobos? I always thought it was bonobos, but I learned that word by reading it.
It's natural.
It is natural.
Yeah, it's natural.
That's his argument, guys. Like, look, you don't have to like it, and you can have your reasons for being against sodomy specifically. But if you can't take his argument for what it is, what are we doing here?
We've also seen
Yeah, but what about
lifelong
all of the
same-sex
killing that
paint.
bonobos do with each other? How about the bonobos rip each
Well,
other
but
apart?
that's natural. That's natural.
It is natural in the same way that it's natural that some humans are going to be murderers. Are you claiming? Are you trying to not claim, but are you putting forth the notion that it is not natural to humanity for people to murder other people? Nobody's saying that in all humans. We're talking about the species as a whole.
It is natural.
Yeah, it's natural.
We should do it as well.
Yeah. The problem, but this
but that's not anything anybody put forth. That's a different claim. The fact that it is natural and the fact that you should or should not do it are two different things. As y'all love to point out, you cannot get an ought from an is.
the problem, right? This is how these things get out in the ethos, and what they claim you believe gets out in the ethos is because they build a straw man, multiple straw men in this case, argue against those straw men as though they're refuting actual points that the right has. This is not it.
Penguin couples who actually adopt.
Okay, I'm sorry. I got to skip past Dean because I just can't stand his face anymore. I just can't.
Well, has
Okay.
any Christian or conservative ever made the argument that you don't find homosexuality in nature ever in the history of the world? Like I've
Literally, Andrew just said, well, wait, okay. So if he's asking, so no, I don't think anybody is presenting that same-sex relations don't exist anywhere in the animal kingdom. I think the point is that if you're going to say it exists naturally in the animal kingdom, but not in humans, then you have to offer something as to a distinction between humans and other animals.
never heard.
There are like low tier Bible thumpers who will say things like, "It ain't natural, boy." Right,
right.
Which okay, fair enough, and you could even make an ontological argument that way, I guess. Right? It's just that from his standpoint, serious Christian debaters are not using naturalistic fallacies in their debates, and they're also definitely not appealing to bonobo monkeys, right, or anything like that. If you say every species on Earth is gay, it still wouldn't prove that humans that's natural or unnatural. So, like in both ways.
But again, you just made that argument again. If you were to prove that in all species being natural is gay, then it wouldn't be for humans. I'm not saying that because it is natural that it is moral. I'm not saying it's immoral. I'm just not addressing that aspect of it. But we all seem to agree that it occurs naturally in all species. Ty said, say what you will about Lucy Cook, a zoologist, founder of the Sloth Appreciation Society, of which I am a card-carrying member. Well, shout out to that. Usually that comes with say what you want, but she is good because this. But hey, shout out to the sloth. Being fast is overrated. That's what she said.
Monkeys, right, or anything like that. If you say every species on Earth is gay, it still wouldn't prove that humans that's natural or unnatural. So
how would it not? I think it would.
Like in both ways, he kind of gives himself a double entendre there. Now, Dave, I specifically had this for you. This is your favorite. This is a socialist, and I wanted to go through and see if you could get some reputations here.
Jesus. All right, let's take a drink and prepare for Dave's reaction to a socialist. It's not going to be good.
Because I know that you're a big fan of socialism. It's your favorite, right?
Oh, yeah.
Own anything anymore. Ain't this the reason y'all profess to hate socialism and communism? This like rabid relationship to private and personal property? You have none. Barely any of my friends can afford a home, even in dual income households. So most of us are renters. I'm one of 4 people I know who owns their vehicle outright because we paid in cash. Most people I know have to finance or lease their vehicles.
Yeah, because they go for new cars when they're broke. If you get a 3-year-old car, most people could pay for it in cash.
Everything else around you is based around a subscription model, so you're paying in perpetuity forever. Your music.
What? This is so weird. I was not quite hearing this in my head, but like by the time I was able to read it, before I was able to encode what I was reading, I heard the song in my head. Did she just say something about that? My brain is, you just scrambled my brain. It's wrinkling my brain. DJ said, fairly common is greater than natural. Using the word natural opens a can of worms that, a can of worms, both natural and cyber worms.
What?
That's not English. Shout out to Box in the building. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Said car notes are for losers. Yup. Box said the second you drive the car off the lot, it becomes a used car and you start losing money. Pet peeve there. Why is it that everybody spells loose like lose? I don't know. But everybody does it. So you're in good company. And we also got Box News. Yeah, right. The economy sucks, so give me free shit. Well, actually, now that you bring that up, let's take shit. Another little side quest of somebody. Can I find it? Where is it? I was just watching this. It was a video of there we go. So we have a video of people squatting and using Facebook Marketplace to sell homes that aren't theirs. And we could skip through the well, I'll give you the intro here.
Involved in this property? I was told by I would say a third, probably like a second party, about this girl who had properties on, at the time, Facebook Marketplace. I guess her Facebook Marketplace made it to more social medias, more networks, and more pockets, I guess.
We asked Monica about the ad.
She's advertising squatter homes. Like, she does this for a certain fee, and she'll move you into somebody's property that's not yours, which is about my case.
Are you concerned that now you're in a situation where probably in the foreseeable future, you're going to have to find another place to live after spending thousands?
Well, I know that's what's going to happen, but God has always got my back. And when you...
God's got my back stealing shit.
Don't do things to people, your blessings will come. So making sure he's blessed back with his home the same way it was left, that's going to make sure that I'm good and make sure God keeps blessing me.
Look, I've done a lot. So I am looking at the poll that we just did. Which number is closer to the exact number of illegal immigrants currently? I should have said in this country, but you guys are smart enough. You figured it out. And so I went low with 15 million, and then I went super high with 100 million. I would have picked 100 million. Because I agree that at the very least, it's got to be somewhere around 50 and probably even more than that. So I don't think that it is 100 million, but I would have gone with a 100. Yeah, shout out to Actual Justice Warrior. Met him at DebateCon, and cool dude. Before we dive into that, let's take a little break. If you guys are enjoying the show, the party rages on 24/7 over in our Discord. The link is pinned to the top of the chat and is absolutely free to join 24/7. We're in there hanging out, having a great time. And guys, it is absolutely free. However, if you are a member of this channel here on YouTube, you can scroll right below that video and hit that join button. It starts at $2.99. There's a few different tiers, but $2.99 will get you in. It gets you members only live streams here on YouTube, all that other good stuff. But it opens up the full Discord server. So we've got the free chat that is open to anyone. Anybody can join and talk. But as you can see, that is just one of our channels. There's a bunch of different channels here, including our Disciple chat for members only, our Word of the Day watch party, where we're talking about all this stuff. And of course, we have the voice channel here, where we are hanging out at this moment. Shout out to everybody in the Discord server. Say hello and tell them to come and join.
Hello, come and join.
There you go, guys. Simple as that. See you there. And of course, guys, remember the free chat is pinned to the top of the free chat of Discord is pinned. That link that is pinned to the top of the YouTube chat, that will get you in for free. But as we said, the after party is for members only. However, if you join from that free link before the stream is over, you get a day pass and can join us in the after party. It's free, guys. Come on through. You know, we're doing a lot here with the show and everything, but community building is really, really the long-term goal. So this is the ground floor. Get on in there. Hey, shout out to Box with the gifted membership. Shout out to Chuck E. Cheese. You are now a member. If you're not already in the Discord, make sure you join. You don't even have just the day pass. You've got a whole month pass. Thanks to Box. Thank you so very, very much. And of course, that counts towards our swole goal, guys. That is what, 3 out of 15 and math out of 50. I don't know where they are, but thank you so very, very much, sir. So I just want to skip ahead. You got the basic story there. That you can say, what you're getting into. You go on Facebook and it's like, this is a squatter situation. I will get you into a squatter situation. That's what we're talking about. Let's see what Sean's got for us.
Steps to a way to get them to talk to them. And the reason why this is incredibly unfortunate is because putting their faces out there, naming and shaming them is one of the first steps to accelerating the process to getting these people off the property. But instead, in order to get the interview, in order to get the story, in order to get the feedback from these individuals, Fox 45 ended up making this agreement. So unfortunately, I am unable to unmask these individuals at this moment in time. But if I discover any kind of news report that has their name and face, I will, in post-production, end up adding that information in, because it is very important for us to not obscure their identity, for us to humiliate these people so that they stop extorting homeowners, because this is an ongoing thing. These people move from property to property doing the exact same thing, and it's just ridiculous that this is allowed. But unfortunately, this is the state of left-wing cities in the United States of America.
Yes, when they really quick before we get to that, Ty said I would definitely be yeeted from the Discord. No, you wouldn't. If you check out our server guidelines, there are very, very few rules. There is not a single word nor a single phrase that if you utter it, if you will get yeeted. The only way that you can get yeeted from the Discord is if you're sharing screenshots, if you're doxing people, or if you are constantly being a problem. And when I say being a problem, I do not mean getting into heated debates. That is precisely why it is there. As DJ said, need more people to argue with. Well, I said I will internet fight any position. That's what it's all about. I disagree, DJ. I think you fit in just fine. So let's see what these squatters are saying.
Fortunately, this is the state of left-wing cities in the United States of America.
You asked when they expected to leave the property, they had disputed authority to occupy.
That man is not going to back out till you get that out. You don't got to worry about that from me and my family. That man's going to get that. He's going to buy the house. So that's probably like you said. But it's just unfortunate. Where do we lie?
I mean, at this.
Where do we lie at? So the actual homeowner has put these people that bought into the squatting situation. They knew it was a squatting situation. They bought into the squatting situation. The homeowner rented a house for them because, the house was empty. They were going to sell it to other people. And he's asking, where do we lie at? Wherever the fuck you can pay for. And there's homeless shelters all over the place.
That's right, like you said. But it's just unfortunate. Where do we lie?
I mean, at this point.
Well, then you fit right in.
Point, are you turning over this property?
What else do I have to do? Because what I'm gonna go stand in front of the corner like yes.
So is that a yes?
They never said so. Yes, I really lost my mind. But what I'm saying is, and he even trying to help with this house. I'm not being with all these shoes. I can't move my family in the house. But where do we get compensated at?
Where do we get compensated at? What do you mean? You don't own any of the stuffs.
You know what I mean? Like,
so the property owner right here is in a bit of a fix. The house is already under contract. He's already ready to unload it. He has the buyer ready to go. But unfortunately, a situation like this could easily scare a buyer off, and understandably so, because you have a bunch of criminals that have stolen the home from right underneath you. So in this particular case, the property owner is offering them one of his rental properties to stay in. He'll deal with them later. And of course, they're going with the tale that they were scammed, even though, again, this was listed probably on one of those Facebook marketplace things. And these guys know exactly what they're doing.
After rejecting Haskell's relocation attempt, we followed the occupants back to the occupied home.
For sure. So I ain't going to jail. I know.
Yeah, I think you are going to jail.
Between a social media user who allegedly leased a home to his occupants for $7,500. Since the document was shown to police, Haskell has few options other than pleading with the occupants for the return of his home.
And of course, this individual is maximizing his victim status, saying, oh, I've lost so much money. I put so much money into the deposit and whatnot. And it's just so unfortunate for me that I'm the victim of this situation. Please pay me out. Again, roll the Anna, give me the money clip.
Oh, give me the money. Give me the money. Okay.
But of course,
give me the money.
Make no mistake about it. This is, in fact, a scam. It is a common scam. And these people go into this situation understanding exactly what they're doing.
Yup. As Sean likes to say, they are not poor baby, innocent baby Aladdins. Not quite. Not quite. Where were we at? Box said I looked into adverse possession. There's a reason it exists. You have to live in a place for 10 years here in Minnesota to take control of it and ask for a deed. At its most fundamental form, adverse possession would be like if you were lost on an Alaskan hunt. You come across a cabin and you break in to stay alive. No one will charge you for it. At its extreme, adverse possession means you can squat in the suburbs and own the house in a month with fake papers. The fake papers should be a huge crime, but it's not. They treat it like an accident. And that was kind of the bottom line of how this all happens. Sean was talking about because there are papers and they treat it like an accident, then it becomes a civil issue, which could take time. And you're not going to kick somebody out of their house on a civil issue. Well, maybe I should. I gotta steal something like that, right? I'm gonna give me the money. I'm puny. Bulk me up. I don't know. I've been thinking I gotta do something better. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Maybe, just maybe, if we get up there, it might be a peanut butter night for Morty. We'll see. Hey, I am a grammar nerdsy myself. So what did you say? Behind the at Young Jeezy, we get compensated behind the at. Huh? I don't know what you mean, but I am definitely one of these as well. So that's what I'm saying. Come through Discord. You're gonna be in right at home
because we paid in.
Right? Had this for you. Also, definitely not appealing to bonobo monkeys, right? Or anything like that. If you say every species on Earth is gay, it still wouldn't prove that humans that's natural or unnatural. So, like in both ways, he kind of gives himself a double entendre there. Now, Dave, I specifically had this for you. This is your favorite. This is a socialist. And I wanted to go through and see if you could give some refutations here, because I know that you're a big fan of socialism. It's your favorite, right?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't it all of our favorites?
Own anything anymore. Ain't this the reason y'all profess to hate socialism and communism? This like rabid relationship to private and personal property? You have none. Barely any of my friends can afford a home. Even
no. What do you mean? No. The issue with socialism is not private property, or rather, not that you have private property. I am definitely in a relationship with my private property, and I like it that way.
Anymore. Ain't this the reason y'all profess to hate socialism and communism? This like rabid relationship to private and personal property? You have none. Barely any of my friends can afford a home, even in dual income households. So most of us are renters. I'm one of 4 people I know who owns their vehicle outright because we paid in cash. Most people I know have to finance or lease their vehicles. Everything else around you is based around a subscription model. So you're paying in perpetuity forever. Your music, your movies and TV, your fridge, your toothbrush, your...
Okay, I remember this from before, but put one in the chat. If you do not pay a subscription on your toothbrush or your refrigerator
or washing machine, everything.
Are you on a subscription model for your toothbrush, Dave?
I am.
I'm just wondering, are you on? Do you have to pay monthly to use your toothbrush, Dave? I'm not. I don't have that particular subscription. I'm just wondering.
No, me neither.
You know.
You need to get on that, homie. You need to get on that, homie. Guys, really quick, if you could do me a huge favor and hit that like button, I would very, very much appreciate it.
Washing machine. I also don't have a subscription to use my washing machine.
I wait until my toothbrush looks like old carpet, and then I get a new one.
Has a subscription, and they've been allowed to successfully lobby for years to lose the right to repair. You can't even repair the shit that you are allowed to own like that. I recently talked about John Deere.
Oh, by the way, thank you, Redacted, for the big raid. I really appreciate it. It's very kind of you, and welcome to all of Redacted's audience here at the Crucible.
You want that to tractor?
I'm glad her friends can't afford homes. She sucks. Her friends probably suck too. I mean, I'm not glad that they can't afford to live, but you know, it's the same economy. But you know, you're probably right about the rest.
Recently talked about John Deere.
Oh, by the way, thank you, Redacted, for the big raid. I really appreciate it. It's very kind of you, and welcome to all of Redacted's audience here to the Crucible.
You want that to...
Come on, guys. Let me get 2 more likes. That's it. 2 more likes. Come on. Don't make me beg. Don't make me beg.
Tractors, like... So again, I ask, how is this working? This feel like freedom to y'all? For real? One slip and fall away from unemployment? A hit and run away from homelessness? You haven't finally become acquainted with the people you've been running past for years on the street because you living like them now. Like, this is.
So let's talk about this notion of like most people can't afford a $400 emergency. Is that like, okay, let's do this anonymously so that we're not, so would it ruin you if you had to pay out $400 for an emergency? Let's say you have 1 day to get the money. Would it ruin you? Because the idea is that if you are working, if you are making good choices, then I'm not saying you should be in a position like I get it. I'm living this world too. But the idea that $400 is going to ruin you. Maybe you don't have $400 just sitting around, but like you don't have a credit card. And like, again, maybe you're in a particularly shitty situation where something else has happened, but that's not one $400 emergency. I just feel like that is that's not even real. Yeah, probably. DJ says, "This bitch don't care about right to repair. Why is she fronting?" I think it helps the message. You know, no principles, just positions. Let's shout out our boy KFT. Welcome. Oh, where's my applause there? Welcome to the party with the 199. Said, "Hi Morty, Islam sucks. MAGA. Let's go. I always suggest if you ever come through late, I always suggest it's better that you just go with the live so that you're part of the conversation. And then if you want to go watch the rest on replay, it's the same thing as watching it when, you know, I'm further along in the stream. You know what I mean? Box. Thank you again, KFT. Actually, before I do this, let's make sure we are on top of that. That is 4 out of 15. We had 3 and 2, which is we'll do 17 out of $50, guys. We are getting there. Thank you. Box said that number is off, by the way. I forget how the study was done, but it's not $400 make or break limit. And I mean, like, yeah, that makes sense. Because certainly there is a class of people who 400, like, and I'm not saying that, like, hey, $400, no big deal. That's not what I'm saying. But it wouldn't ruin me. I would definitely have to pick up a couple extra shifts and, you know, maybe beg you guys for a little something. But either way, it's not going to destroy me. Hey, KFT, again. With the super sticker. Thank you. So very, very much. Guys, again, 99 cents is all it takes to add to the Swogo. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check that goal thingy, the 2 out of 15 at the top of the chat. 20 push-ups starting right there. And again, oh my goodness. Thank you, sir. See, $1 will do it, baby. $1 will do it. We are getting there. So now we're what? 6 out of 15. And we're doing it. Thank you so very, very much, sir. Very much appreciated. Let's dive right
Slip and fall away from unemployment, a hit and run away from homelessness. You haven't finally become acquainted with the people you've been running past for years on the street because you living like them now. Like, this is freedom to y'all. These are the spoils of capitalism.
Yeah, you have responsibilities. If you make bad choices and you buy stupid shit and you can't afford normal shit, then that has nothing to do with capitalism. That is a you problem. Oh my goodness. Again. My goodness. KFT with another super sticker 199. Thank you. Oh, almost dropped one. There we go. Thank you so very, very much, guys. See? Simple as that. Very much appreciated.
Listeners, you haven't finally become acquainted with the people you've been running past for years on the street because you living like them now. Like, this is freedom to y'all. These are the spoils of capitalism.
Now, Dave, there's a lot to unpack there, and I'm just going to let you go ahead and go.
Yeah. All right. Well, man, is this confused? All right. So first.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Again. Again. Now I gotta do some math and see if we got a new sponsor. But first, let's give Morty his treat. Again. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so very, very much. All right, let's do some math here. We had 2, 3, 4. 6 is the next number. 8. Okay. Well, Don still got it, aka Morty. So Morty is still our sponsor, but KFT is coming through hard. Thank you so very, very much, sir.
Now, Dave, there's a lot to unpack there, and I'm just going to let you go ahead and go.
Yeah. All right. Well, man, is this confused? All right. So first of all, when she starts by saying, the things that we see today are a lot of what you guys are criticizing about socialism. It's like, yeah, that's right. And why are there so many similarities between the problems of socialism and the problems we find ourselves in today? Maybe it's because we live under the biggest government in the history of the world. Like, that might be why they're, objectively speaking, a government that spends more money, has more employees, has more raw power than any government that's ever existed.
Just military, right? Most bloated budget. Got everything.
If you go look at the 10 planks of the Communist Manifesto, we have all of them either in whole or in part.
Don, thank you so very, very much for sponsoring the stream so far. I definitely will take a look. And just he couldn't let you leave. KFT was like, nah. While you're still here, I am the sponsor now. I am the sponsor now. Thank you so very, very much. Well, actually, we got co-sponsors, right? Wait, I did that. Let's do the math, because Don had 10. So we add 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 10. We got co-sponsors. KFT in the building. Thank you so very, very much. And guys, you're seeing how very, very easy it is to split up these into tiny little bits. If you do one a week, if everybody did one a week, we would hit the goal every single time. Just saying. Thank you so very, very much, sir.
Got everything.
If you go look at the 10 planks of the Communist Manifesto, we have all of them either in whole or in part. So yeah, it's not like, so there's a lot of problems like that are legitimate that she gets at, like the fact that the price of education is so high. Why is the price of education so high? Who's in charge of education?
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. KFT said fuck everybody. I am the sole sponsor now. Oh, look at that. Look at that. We are running low. I'm going to have to do a refill soon. And Morty is loving it. Oh, my goodness. We love when you guys come through. Thank you so very, very much.
So there's a lot of problems like that are legitimate that she gets at, like the fact that the price of education is so high. Why is the price of education so high? Who's in charge of education? Oh, right. Okay. It's not the fruits of capitalism. And then she mixes that in with complaining about a bunch of things that are just luxuries. Like, right, I don't even know what she's talking about. Oh my God, I can get every song that was ever created for $3.99 a month. Yeah, that's not you being oppressed. That's something that, like, when I was a kid, we would have considered like, oh my God, this is so cool. I can't believe you get this much for this cheap.
You remember the hack? I don't even remember what it is, but there was a hack that you could do when burning CDs. Like a typical CD, maybe depending on the length of the songs, you would have between 10 and 13 songs. But I think if you change the file type, I think if you went with MP3s instead of WAV files, or the other way around, or something like that, you could fit like 100 songs on a CD. And that was epic. That was 100. And then the MP3 player came out. But yeah, sure, you go ahead and complain about Spotify, which, by the way, you don't have to pay for.
Month. Yeah, that's not you being oppressed. That's something that, like, when I was a kid, we would have considered like, oh my God, this is so cool. I can't believe you get this much for this cheap. And so it's all just, but there are.
What do you mean by this? Because here, let's just do this. Devon who was on the channel a number of times, sent this to me. I didn't even really fucking watch it because he's just always in my DMs like, "Oh, look at this thing that happened. Doesn't MAGA suck?" And
yeah, Donald Trump. Listen, man, I supported him this last year. I apologize for doing so. It was a bad calculation at the time. It seemed like the right one, but he should be impeached and removed for this one.
Comedian, libertarian political commentator, and debate.
So it's not even a real. It's not even a real clip. We're taking it out of context. Got it. So yeah, I would not be surprised if that was a complete joke. Even if it wasn't, it's very clear that Dave has never been a big supporter of Trump, and even up until the last summer, he still wasn't sure if he was going to vote for Trump or not. And so just trying to send that to me as if like, well, look what we got here. It's like, what? Nothing. Dave has always been a very critical of Trump, yet he voted for him anyway. So what the fuck does that tell you? What the fuck does that tell you? Do you honestly think that if you sat down with Dave Smith and been like, all right, I understand, this big, beautiful bill, it's not so beautiful. We're getting too much Israel stuff here and, stuff going on in Iran and India and all this. We're supposed to be America. You'd be like, yeah, totally. That's why I don't like Trump. And then you were like, okay, so you wish you would have voted for Kamala instead. Then if you're a liberal, this is nothing. This is equivalent to the average liberal talking about how they didn't like Biden. Like, yeah, we know that you don't love Biden. You just think that he was better than Trump. And we disagree, but I can understand your state of mind. Whereas liberals they think that we're all just one glob of people who just, no matter what Trump does, we're just like, oh my God, that's amazing. That's amazing. And because they think that, they come with this fucking arrogant attitude like, see, which then naturally gets that a reaction of like, oh, whoa, what are you talking about here? Because you're trying to dunk on me for something that has nothing to do with my views. Liberals.
That's something that, like, when I was a kid, we would have considered like, oh my God, this is so cool. I can't believe you get this much for this cheap. And so it's all just, but there are some real problems. The issue is that, and you see this all the time with government intervention. It's like you have some big government intervention, and then 5 years later, they're like, see, it's a disaster. This is why it's proof that we need socialism. We need the government to take, it's like, look at Obamacare and now the calls for Medicare for all. It's like, it's that on a huge fucking scale. But essentially, if we could just get government out of the business of education, I think in the same way that you were talking about how, just gun rights would solve so much of the problems in California, just not having our degenerate government in charge of educating kids, not from kindergarten through 12th grade, but really all through college too.
Or women.
Well,
EB3's over here trying yet again to make the argument that our boy Andrew Wilson and Jake ran from him.
It depends on which women, but yeah, I look, I mean, there's a point to that.
There's a point to that. Well, the reason
and this is the point is that it's not to appeal to lefties like you. It's just what he thinks. And so that is the reason that a lot of us really appreciate him. Because whether we agree with what he's saying or disagree with what he's saying or like the message that he is carrying, we can trust that is really what he thinks. And I don't have to agree that Donald Trump should be impeached. Was there more context to that? Because it doesn't feel like we got any context from that. Let's go. Let's go back and see. Let's see. Nope, that's not what I wanted.
Commentator and debater Dave Smith has been one of Donald Trump's highest profile supporters, and
that's just not true. That's just not true. You are starting off the first sentence is a lie. He has not been one of his most high profile supporters. He was not a supporter of Trump at all until very recently.
defenders, particularly online. He is a frequent guest of Joe Rogan and Piers Morgan and defends Trump on their platforms. But no longer.
Against what? Against what?
In a shocking move in the aftermath of the hot
Not shocking if you're paying attention.
war between Israel and Iran, Dave Smith has publicly repudiated Trump. He did so on Breaking Points, hosted by friend of the show, Crystal Ball. He apologized for his vote for Trump, his support for Trump, and publicly called for Trump to be impeached and removed from office. And as this is going on, we're
Bucks, you said you saw the actual Breaking Points clip that this is from. If you could link me that in Discord, I would very much appreciate it.
starting to see a wider schism within the MAGA movement on the
Let's see if he linked it. I'm sure he won't. Of course not.
topic of foreign policy. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the
Probably
like,
not,
subscribe, and alert. Big fan of Dave Smith, particularly in his defense of Trump. I think he was way too tolerant of Trump's censorious impulses, even though Dave presents himself as a free speech warrior. Donald Trump is objectively more censorious than any.
Exactly. Shout out to Chuck E. Cheese new member. Said I followed Dave for 15 years. Never been a big fan, but one of Trump's biggest defenders? Never. Never. Just lies and bullshit. Lies and bullshit.
Any Democrat. Dave Smith's the sort of guy who bitches endlessly about the Twitter files, but Fire, the right-wing libertarian free speech organization, has said, yeah, what Trump's doing on free speech makes what we saw in the Twitter files look like child's play in comparison. So I hated the grading on a curve and the tolerance of corruption and censorship that Dave Smith had for Trump. It defied his principles. But give the devil his due here. He found his limit, and he is publicly repudiating Trump. So we're going to play this clip from his recent appearance on Breaking Points, co-hosted again by friend of the show, Crystal Ball, and I'll see you on the other side.
It was in 2007 that the Pentagon told George W. Bush that we cannot go to war with Iran because we do not have escalation dominance against them, essentially meaning that they can hit all of our bases and embassies in the region, and we are very vulnerable to them. And we've already seen demonstrated since the Israeli attack that the Iranian, the missiles that they sent last year toward Israel, as many of us guessed, that wasn't really their best. They were intentionally making an attack that wouldn't really hurt anybody, that wouldn't really lead to a war, which Iran has done over and over again. But now we've pushed them to the point where they probably don't feel that they have the option not to respond. And Donald Trump telling him to come back to the negotiating table now is a joke. I mean, what an impotent leader to be sitting there talking about coming back to the negotiating table. It's like sitting after Pearl Harbor and telling FDR, now's the time to go negotiate with the Japanese. Negotiations are over now. The time for negotiations was before this. And so, yeah, Donald Trump looks, and man, I supported him this last year. I apologize for doing so. It was a bad calculation. At the time, it seemed like the right one. But he should be impeached and removed for this one, and not on some like not on some ridiculous Nancy Pelosi. Of course, the Congress will never do it because they're all a bunch of corrupt hacks.
This is the one thing they support. This is like the
Donald Trump should be impeached and removed for this. All of his supporters should turn on him. It's the absolute betrayal of everything that he ran and campaigned on and everything that he stood for. And I will say, despite the fact that, Donald Trump supporters have been labeled like a cult following, and that certainly is true for a percentage of his supporters, he is going to lose his coalition over this. I know I don't just speak for myself when I say there are a lot of us who simply will not go along with this. So it's just a devastating mistake. By the way, on top of that, he's also going to lose the deportation fight because of this, because right now he needed all the political capital he could have to turn that, you got a majority support for deportations, but the minority is very mobilized and they're out and they're protesting all around the country. He needed all of his political capital for that move. So here's what we got. The neocons win. More war abroad and, bomb the world and invite the world. No matter who you vote for, you always get John McCain.
Wait. So you're telling me that Dave Smith, libertarian Dave Smith, is upset with the Republican president for war? No, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. It's almost like this is always who Dave has been, yet still he decided very clearly that expecting Trump to do stuff like this, which he very clearly articulated that he did think Trump would do stuff like this, and still voted for him. Notice that Devon never asked me what I thought of the situation. Or actually, I take that back. He did ask me. But I had a feeling that because he threw that video up there first, and be like, oh, you love to see it, that he wasn't really there in good faith. And so he asked me, what do I think? And I just said 2 words, don't care. I wanted to see if he would just plug that into his own idea of what he thought, or if he would be in good faith and be like, what do you mean? Why don't you care? Or something like that. And guess what happened? See, I knew it. No. You always do this, but you don't know. Like, bro, you don't even know what I think. You failed the test. You failed. Shout out to Fuck Master General, my goodness, with the $20. Said, one day, all the foolish non-believers will try to run from their fate. They will realize quickly that there is nowhere they can hide from the wrath of the Overlord Morty. Indeed, indeed, indeed. Of course, a big old treat for that you dropped on the ground, you dummy. But thank you, thank you, thank you so very, very much, guys. That gets us very, very close to our goal. And like I said, if we hit it and we go for it, it might be a peanut butter night. That is up to you guys. Funkmaster, thank you so very, very much. Of course, that makes you the new sponsor of the stream. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Chuck E. Cheese. So this really annoys me about the, quote, anti-war people is that if this attack even slowed, let alone got rid of Iranian nuclear weapons, though it was an act of aggression, it's ultimately anti-war. I mean, I definitely would need to see more details about it, but I'm gonna, given that I haven't, done a deep dive on that, I think this makes sense. I don't appreciate the well, I would like to know what kind of diplomatic things were done, because if Dave is here saying, oh well, you've gone too far to come back to the negotiating table, I'm inclined to believe that he at the very least has a reason to say that, whether or not I agree with it. And yeah, it's just it's so superficial. There's so much superficiality. It's always about winning and teams and will. And then when I get annoyed, it's like, bro, calm down. Like, oh, I'm sorry. Did you just think that I was ChatGPT? That you can just prompt me whenever you want and I give you a full, like, no. That's not how this works. You had your time on my stream and you didn't use it for that. You didn't use it for that. Yeah, and yet they still went to hang out. What a cult. What a cult. I was going to say, this is a much better format for Dave and Andrew. I don't think that, not that Dave can't debate, but he's not that type of debater. And so it just doesn't mix. And I think this is a lot better. But shout out again to our sponsor, Funk Master General. Let's dive right back.
Well, it depends on which women. But yeah, I look, I mean, there's a point to that.
There's a point to that. Well, the reason I bring this up, Dave, and the reason I had Dean on before this is because I wanted to show something which was really interesting here. This is the reason that this is such a popular ideology is because she actually gets a lot of the descriptors right. And when you talk to a person, the way that you can kind of sneak in the most insidious lies is when you can relate to them with all of the descriptors of the same problems they're dealing with. And then you give the prescription or you give the blame factor to whatever this entity is with your prescription. That is powerful rhetoric, isn't it?
Oh yeah. And then also, so that's a really important aspect of it. But then also on top of that, socialism has this very intoxicating effect, because they're essentially the message essentially is that you don't really have to learn anything else. Like, you don't really have to know anything. You don't have to study anything. You don't have to understand anything. Just know that you are a victim. You are entitled to a lot of stuff that you don't have for some reason. And that there's a...
Is that today? Is today your birthday? $2 a push-up on your birthday. I didn't say that. I'm gonna need a CID. But no, yeah, hey, if that's today, then guys, every $2 is another push-up. We are right now at, we're gonna round down, so we're at 21 right now. But if that's what we doing, that's what we doing. So let's make the goal our peanut butter. And for Funkmaster's birthday, we are doing $2 a push-up. Let's see if you can bulk me up and get peanut butter for Morty.
Just know that you are a victim. You are entitled to a lot of stuff that you don't have.
EB3 right now begging to talk in spaces where he does not pay for, like you guys do. It's all over the place.
For some reason, and that there's essentially one sweeping solution that could deliver it all to you. That particularly to young people, that's like very seductive. Like as you get older, you kind of tend to develop more wisdom, and you tend to go like, well, wait a minute, hold on. Like I kind of have an idea that
there's
a lot of people have to work.
There's an I don't give a shit factor also when you get older. And as you stop giving a shit, the things that people say to you make less and less sense. That's what I've noticed. Every year that passes, I give a shit about less things, right? And I don't even have time to give a shit about them, right?
Yeah.
So
No, I get that point. Or maybe even you give a shit about some things more, but the things you give a shit about become less and less and less, and they're like the only things you give a shit about. So you're like, I really care about my wife and kids. Aside from that, everything's in a distant second. And what I think what you're getting at is that what you don't care about at all as you get older is like being perceived as cool or being in with a crowd. And like these are forces that really rule you when you're 20. You know what I mean? But when you're in your 40s, you're just like, I don't know. I don't give a shit about any of that.
You don't care about none of it. It means nothing. Now, we do have to move off this segment, unfortunately, because of the purpose.
That, sir, is totally up to you.
Of time, we are going to move right into our next segment. Go ahead, Mr. Enigmatic.
Oh, Jesus. I saw who? Israelite.
Billion years ago, expansion started.
And it was a black girl.
The earth began to cool. The kings began to rule. Like Hebrews invented schools, we built it up.
All right, well, let's hear this.
Unfortunately,
I didn't realize we're getting lyrics here. Let's see what the lyrics are. I don't know why the captions aren't working. I mean, they are at the very bottom of the screen, so they would have been covered up for a lot of stuff, but
nearly 14 billion years ago, expansion started. Wait, the earth began to cool, the kings began to rule. Like
the kings.
Hebrews invented schools, we built it all. They built the pyramids, math, science, history, unraveling the mystery. It all started with us being kings. She. Now,
we was kings. And Funkmaster said, let's roll the dice with the 5 gifted memberships. Thank you so very, very much. And of course, we're now getting into the crumbs stage. That's how generous you guys are. We're getting into the crumbs stage of getting Morty his treats. Thank you so very, very much. How much does that cost, guys? I've been meaning to ask, and I always forget, and I don't want to do it on stream, but I always forget. How much does that how much should I put towards the goal there? Because I'll give you you get the donation, but the number amount, it doesn't show me.
We built it all. They built the pyramids, math, science, history, unraveling the mystery. It all started with us being kings. Now, we have to move into. We have to move in. Yeah, look, my voice isn't that.
So 8, 50, 58. Go Mets! Go Mets! This is the last one I have before I need to start cutting the tops off, because you guys see how far he gets into them. But, all that stuff at the bottom, he can't reach it. So shout out to everybody who donated. We have hit our swole goal. And since it is Funkmaster's birthday, we are going to do $2 per push-up. And the swole goal now became Morty's peanut butter. Guys, thank you so very, very much. You know how much he means to me, and making him happy like that is... There's no words, guys. Thank you so very, very much.
Kings. She. Now, we have to move into... We have to move in. Look, my voice isn't that bad. What are you laughing at my voice for? You guys are so mean. You're fucking mean. Okay, so there has been a trend of resurgence, if you will, of Black Hebrew Israelites. Now, Dave, being an expert on Israel, as we know, I thought that we could get some takes from you on a different form of Israel that you might not.
Okay, He is rock hard right now. The lipstick. Oh my God. This is some after hours shit.
Be aware of, and just see what you thought about this. Here we go.
people. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the 12 tribes of Israel, we know that we are direct descended from them. So we do use the Bible and the prophecy of what God says will happen to his people if they don't listen to him to figure out who the people of God are. For example, in Deuteronomy 28, the Bible says that God's people will go into slavery on ships. The word Egypt is synonymous with slavery because the Bible calls Egypt a house of bondage. But we know that the so-called African American people came into America into slavery on ships.
So
it was on chaps.
Yeah,
It was
it's
on
it,
ships.
because so I see the correlation. Now, it could be also the case that because most slavery was done on ships, that we could point to many people groups. But for some reason, Dave, the Black Hebrew Israelites don't believe that anybody else was ever taken on ships, stored as cargo, and sent all over planet Earth as human chattel. And I have no idea why.
Yeah, the going on ships is something that defines all people. Like that was pretty much the way to get across the ocean. I don't know. Like,
We didn't have planes, so
what?
I'm pretty sure that's how they ship Indian slaves these days, and like Congolese slaves these days to the Middle East.
I'm pretty confident. I'm pretty confident that that's the case.
So that's one down. That chapter is filled with a whole bunch of other curses that will happen to the people of God if they don't listen to him. The whole Bible really talks about prophecy of what will happen to God's people when they listen to him and when they don't. And we match that up with what's happening to our people and the rest of the tribes of Israel. And we are able to see who God's chosen people are.
So this
even when it's like different religious stuff, I mean, it's so hard for me not to just tune out. I don't know anything that she said.
comes down to is that this particular sect who calls themselves Black Hebrew Israelites believes that they are the true Jews. They believe that they are the true Israel. And what they do is they put their oppression, the oppression Olympics, against Jewish oppression. And then they think we come out on top, basically, right? We come out on top. So he must be talking about us.
Yeah, this is just too goofy. I don't know what to say. It's like if I just got like forget the religious aspect of it. Like if I was just reading you a book from 200 years ago and I was like, he's talking about me. They're describing me in that book. And you'd be like, oh, that's a pretty strong claim. Like, what's your evidence?
Put one in the chat if you want to take a side quest to see what 12 tribes is up to.
It's a pretty bold claim, Cotton. Right?
Yeah.
It's a pretty bold move.
Yeah. So
Chucky said the nation of Islam people and the Black Hebrew Israelites have an advantage in that they don't have any kind of Bible to criticize. They just sort of make it up, and everyone has a different idea. Well, yeah, different idea what it is. Hey, well, I mean, that's pretty smart. That's pretty smart. If you want to get people to believe in BS, then that's a pretty good way to do it. Shout out to equality and deference because vagina over on Rumble. Welcome, said liked and shared. Oh my goodness, thank you so very much. You guys know how much that stuff does help the channel. It is free, it is easy to just hit like, hit share. It does not even matter if you think anybody's going to click on the link. Just by you telling YouTube I want more people to see this, they will show it to more people. Thank you, and welcome to the party. Yeah, I mean, hey, and your videos do well and they're entertaining, so why wouldn't I?
Me. They're describing me in that book. And you'd be like, oh, that's a pretty strong claim.
It's
Like, what's your evidence?
It's a pretty bold claim, Cotton, right? It's a pretty bold move.
Yeah, so you'd be like, so what's your evidence? And I go, well, he says the guy will be wearing clothes.
Yeah.
And I'm wearing clothes.
And his name is Dave.
Right? You're like, this is not a strong evidence. It's just, if you're willing to start with your conclusion, you can really get anywhere you want to go.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, Dave. I feel like what's going on here is typical Jewish obfuscation. What you're trying to do is not let...
Which is slightly different than semantic obfuscation, which needs to be stopped. You can get a mug, you can get a sticker, you can get a notebook, and you can get all of these designs only at TheIndianJesus.com. Get your very own official merch. Oh my.
This legitimately aggrieved group, take their rightful social status as the most aggrieved group. And I think you're going to have to answer for that one day in front of God, Dave.
I'll be honest with you, Andrew. These days, I don't think anybody should be competing over who gets to be called the Jews. So if you guys want to take it and take all the heat that comes with it, that's absolutely fine. I'll be like, you guys are really right to be furious at these Jews, and they're right there. They're right there waiting for you guys. I think it's terrible what they're doing to Gaza.
Yeah, what are these people? What are they doing?
Hey, we got another dislike on Rumble. They only hate when you're doing something right.
They're really right to be furious at these Jews, and they're right there. They're right there waiting for you guys. I think it's terrible what they're doing to Gaza.
Yeah, what are these people? What are they doing to Gaza over
We
here?
do keep the laws of God. We don't eat unclean foods. We keep the Sabbath and so many more things. We don't practice animal sacrifice because we do believe in Jesus. He is our Savior, and He came to redeem His people unto God. We call Him Yahushai, which is the Hebrew word or the Hebrew translation for His name. I often say Jesus when I'm talking on social media as not to discourage people or scare people away. We only keep God's holy days, and we don't celebrate pagan traditions like Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving, or any of the other holidays that
All the fun stuff. They don't like they took all of the best parts of worship out of worship. You know, and all of that is supposed to be for Thanksgiving, you know, and they completely took all of it out. It's like a bizarre mix of Jehovah's Witness, a bit of Mormonism, a little bit. It's the most bizarre mix of theology I've ever seen in my life, Dave.
Yeah, it certainly is. It gets to a point though where I'm almost like, all right, let them have it. Like, sure, lady.
Okay.
You figured it out. You figured it all
You
out. You got it together. By the way,
and that's a common thing that at some point it's like, okay, whatever you say. Okay, dude. Okay, dude. Thank you for the likes, guys. Very, very, very much appreciated.
I don't even know, dude. I don't know enough about this, like off the top of my head. I've read about this before, but I do think David Ben Gurion, the first prime minister of Israel, was on record saying something about this. But I do think there's a strong argument that the Palestinians are actually the Jews. Like essentially that, like basically like when the Muslims like took over, they basically just forced a bunch of them to convert, and they converted. But like when you actually try, like the Ashkenazi, like European Jews, they can't actually prove that they were like the original Jews. So like there might be something to it. It's definitely not what this lady's saying.
I don't think it is, Dave. I don't think so. Now, I'm willing to grant a lot, but this seems a little far-fetched for me, you know, and I believe in a book where there's a talking donkey, and I take it literally.
Hey, I mean, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. You can understand how ridiculous it is, and you call it out. Fair enough. Equality. Where am I? Equality said. I said we have an absence of interference. We didn't. Oh, man, get my hopes up. Somebody go over to Rumble and hit the like or dislike button. Either way.
I don't think so. Now, I'm willing to grant a lot, but this seems a little far-fetched for me, you know, and I believe in a book where there's a talking donkey, and I take it literally. Okay, I do. I take it literally. So, and this is a little far-fetched for me, I gotta say.
the world celebrates. One thing I do want to touch on, just as pretty much any other religion, I'll use modern day Christianity as an example. Just as modern day Christianity has a whole bunch of different like break off beliefs or little groups, so do Hebrew Israelites, unfortunately.
Okay, we'll skip ahead here just a little bit. I wanted to show you some of the more militant aspects of the Black Hebrew Israelites. Hang on. Sorry, guys. We have a bit of show.
We was kings. Hey, boss. Thank you. Again, you want to take a little break for a treat? You're like, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Thank you so much. And Harley Rose, long time no see. I don't know if the person who gets the gift is here or not, but either way, Harley, we very much miss you, and come on back. Thank you so very, very much, sir.
Okay, we'll skip ahead here just a little bit. I wanted to show you some of the more militant aspects of the Black Hebrew Israelites. Hang on. Sorry, guys. We have a bit of show constriction here. This is pretty interesting.
Jamaican? Yeah, he's a so-called Israelite.
They go out and they evangelize all over the place. Sorry, we don't really have time for the segment, unfortunately. I wish we could show it, but we do have to move over to the Riot coverage. We only got about a half hour left in the show. So let's do that, Mystery. We'll move over to the next segment.
3:30 a.m. ready for the raids. Straight away, got to dunk my head into a frying pan full of ice water. Man, fuck ice, man. Skincare is also really important to me, so banana exfoliation is a must. A bit of potassium as well, of course. Always makes me so happy. followed by my crispy morning iced coffee to keep me sharp. Man, I fucking hate ice so much. Fuck ice, bitch.
What was going on with the Black Hebrew Israelites in 2016 in Detroit? I'm not familiar with that. And yeah, Equality says, but they're not real Christians, says every sect of Christianity.
Anyways, I always need to prepare my mind for the protest with some meditation, followed by a quick dip in the pool, of course. Time to just be alone and think about all of the injustices in the world. Started off the protest with a bit of reporting and got caught in the crossfire. What the fuck? Ice! Shot me in the goddamn leg! Fucking hate ice! Then got shot again. What's up, ice bitch? Ooh, 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 ah, ah. Fuck ice. Then I was lucky enough to get the chance to address some of the protesters.
They know how quickly we mobilize. That's why they're changing tactics. When they show up, we gotta show up even stronger.
Then me and my homie gang had a chat with a nice black police officer.
You got a cop, nigga. I'm fake, nigga. I know you do, dog. I'll spit on your plate. I'll put my dick on your plate, nigga. Fuck your family. Fuck your kids, nigga. That's how it is. I can't sleep because of you.
Finally, I ended up spending the night in a cell. Wouldn't be a proper protest if I couldn't virtue signal to all my friends about my felony. And that was the day in the life of an ICE protester. See?
You know, I feel like we're getting a lot out of that footage of your countrywoman there getting shot in the ass by that by that cop. I really feel like we've gotten a long runway here with this, you know?
Yeah, I don't know really what you're talking about, my countrywoman. That was me getting shot. And I'd like to point out that when I talk about these issues, I like to have actually been to the place, and I like to have actually put my boots on the ground, Dave. So
that is a devastating argument.
As the expert in the room, then, Jake, can you kind of walk us through what's going on with these riots as you were there getting peppered and shot and everything else?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy out there, man. It's like a battlefield, like a jungle out there. I've got some footage over here of some different protesters as well, if we want to get into it.
Let's get into it.
We're getting into it. And so we were talking earlier about how, you know, a lot of it is just old people, but in the city hubs in LA, it is not just the old people. You said, I've never seen a Black Hebrew Israelite woman ever. Yeah, I don't think I have either. Pretty sure, you said pretty sure they aren't permitted to be seen or speak in public. Makes sense. I don't think, yeah, right. What? Oh, where am I? What is? Let's see. What is the general attitude of Black Hebrew Israelites regarding women and their role in? Do they have and I'll say the church in quotes and society in general. Good catch there, DJ. I definitely have not ever seen a female BHI, as you put it. So I wonder what she thinks of her men yelling about how they will make concubines out of white women who are, according to them, subhuman. They are bragging about future bestiality acts. What? Why would you want to? All right, let's see what they say. So again, I was asking, what is the general attitude of Black Hebrew Israelites regarding women and their role in the church and in society in general? So the general attitude of the BHI regarding women varies by group, as someone so beautifully pointed out before, that they don't have a book, so they just kind of make it up. So you are always wrong. Another instance of semantic obfuscation. Many of the more prominent or militant sects promote strictly patriarchal views with traditional subordinate roles for women in both religious and societal life. Here's a breakdown. So, religious role of women. Women are not permitted to teach or hold authority over men. They are expected to learn in silence and submission. Well said, DJ. Often citing scriptures like Timothy and Corinthians, women are discouraged or banned from leadership roles in assemblies or camps. Dress codes are usually enforced. Modest clothing, often skirts and dresses, and cover their heads during worship. Some groups view women as spiritually weaker vessels, though still valued if they submit to male leadership. So that is the religious role in the marriage and family. Polygamy, man having multiple wives, is accepted or even encouraged by many camps. Wives are expected to be completely obedient to their husbands, seen as their earthly lord or leader. A woman's main role is often defined as serving her husband, bearing children, and managing the home. Unironically based. But of course, you know, they kind of take it too far, right? So then in broader society, secular feminism is rejected. I mean, hey, broken clocks right twice a day, right? A product of what or Western ideology is meant to divide families and subvert God's order. Again, they are right there. Working outside the home is often discouraged, especially in more militant groups. Some camps restrict women from speaking publicly or interacting freely with men outside their family or religious circle. So again, there's no single doctrine. More moderate or messianic groups, those who accept that Jesus is Messiah, may grant women more freedom or respect, though still within a patriarchal framework. The summary is most BHI groups place women in a submissive, supporting role with strict gender hierarchies rooted in a literal and often ethno-nationalist interpretation of the Bible. While this varies by group, the common thread is that women are not considered equals to men in religious, social, or family life. If you're So yeah, good catch. I didn't notice that I'd never heard a Black Hebrew Israelite woman, but spot on. They are definitely secretly making fun of Douglas Murray. They have been the whole time. Claudia also says, "Hey, if they don't let women speak, how do I join?" I think you can just be like, "I'm here now." Actually, yeah, let's actually ask that question. What does someone need to do in order to become part of this group? Would be vague. We'll be vague and see what we're talking about. Why does it keep doing that? Oh, I guess the enter button doesn't work there. Yeah, how do you equality wants to join? So to be part of the BHI group, the process depends heavily on which specific camp or sect you're joining. You got to accept the core beliefs. Equality sounds like you're already good there. Black Americans, sometimes Latinos and Native Americans, are the true descendants of the ancient Israelites. Do you believe that, equality? White people are often viewed as Edomites or enemies of God, depending on the camp. Salvation is primarily or exclusively for Israelites. The laws of the Old Testament, including dietary laws, Sabbaths, dress clothes, must be followed. So you cannot mix two fabrics or you're going to hell. Yeah, all that stuff. You got to be taught and indoctrinated. You'll need to watch hours of street teachings, YouTube videos, or attend classes. That's legit AF. Yeah, so I guess, they ain't going to jump you in like a gang, but you definitely need a Hebrew name. And then, of course, you got to start evangelizing. Some camps are relatively peaceful and focused on heritage and moral living. Others are high-control religious environments, and a few are designated hate groups by organizations like the SPLC for anti-Semitic or extremist teachings. If you're asking me because you're curious, considering joining or researching them, I just want to put it out there. No, I was just curious. Just so that if anybody is curious, no, anybody at OpenAI. No, I don't know. I feel like I haven't. ChatGPT was there first, and I don't know. It's habit. All right, let's dive back in here with the only non-Whited can join. The LA riots.
It's like a battlefield, like a jungle out there. I've got some footage over here of some different protesters as well. If we want to get into it.
Let's get into it.
So as we can see here, we've got some typical protester phenotypes.
Well, hang on. Are you saying that there's, and maybe Dave can weigh in on this too, is there a specific physiognomy here? Is that?
Bro, oh my God. I know, I'm sorry to keep doing this, but EB3 is over in Discord now, talking about my respect is earned. I'm like, no, I don't think it is. I don't think you earn anybody's respect. And he's like, well, my wife respects me. So he said, well, my daddy respects me. He's like, keep that LGBT shit to yourself.
What?
I mentioned my dad. And you thought about LGBT, and I'm the weird one. He asked, yeah, he's like, I talk about my father, he said, I mentioned my wife, and you thought about your real dad? Yes, both family members. Weird fucking people.
Is there like when you see the protester, you go, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Dude, I mean, why does it have to? It always has to be like a dude who looks like a chick and a chick who looks like a dude.
Every
like
time.
There really is something so bizarre about all of it. Yeah, dude. I just can't. At least at the very least with all this shit, you can kind of look at it and go, I don't think these guys are
It's just as long as you're not white, exactly as you said.
winning the argument.
This dude in the chat says treasure troll bun. This chat's amazingly hilarious.
Yeah, but of course we know that anti-white rhetoric is no big deal according to the SPLC, whereas anti-Semitism is the worst thing ever. And yeah, they're both bad. You don't want to be racist, but they pick and
Are winning the argument.
This dude in the chat says treasure troll bun.
Oh Jesus, what do we got? I got three laughing emojis from Funkmaster General. I don't know if I'm ready for this. You're not gonna get me in trouble, right? I'm trusting you here.
Come on, man. Look at this young Negro right here, man, over here looking like a damn 14-year-old girl, man. Stop it, man. That's a damn shame, man. And then you got two girls with them hyping them up. That's the problem with our women.
Hey, yo.
Right there. They talk about they want a good man, but they hype up niggas being homosexuality, man. That don't make any damn sense. Bring your little ass across the track. I know. We calling our asses out.
Yikes. Yeah. Join up with that group. They're normal and nice people. Yeah, you gotta post your black square.
This chat's amazingly hilarious, by the way. But anyway, go ahead, Jay.
We're about to see some more white liberal subtle racism here, by the way, which is our favorite.
How do y'all as white people feel about stopping a black woman from going to work?
Oh no, not work.
Oh no!
I missed it. Sorry.
How is this a peaceful protest?
We're about to see some more white liberal subtle racism here, by the way, which is our favorite.
How do y'all as white people feel about stopping a black woman from going to work?
Oh no, not work.
Oh no!
To be fair, I mean, it is a very, very, very stupid thing to say, but that is more a like self-own of work. That's so stupid. Why would anybody care about having a job? As I didn't read it as like, oh, a black person going to work. I didn't read it like that. But she definitely is not happy.
No, it's not. How do y'all as white people feel about stopping a black woman from going to work?
Oh no, not work.
Oh no!
Okay, so let's end this. So yes, most of you would not be ruined by a $400 emergency as expected. So was the oh no work comment raise? We're gonna do it. Racist. What do you guys think?
No! That didn't sound that subtle, Jake.
Yo, dude.
Look at her face. She's like,
She's like, wait a second. What?
Shit.
Shit.
So you don't care about stopping black people from going to work? Look at this line that you guys are causing. I'm not causing no problems. I'm not trying to. We're just trying to leave.
And as we were watching
all right, so now we've got Harlan Boshenko, who infiltrated this meeting with
Put a one in the chat if you do not know who this chick, Carolyn Borisenko, is. Oh my God. Oh my God. Let's see if we if there's something small where we can do a little a side quest here. So we'll do Carolyn. What the fuck is her name? Carolyn K-A Carl Y-N. Bersinko. God damn it. Give me something quick to just show how insane she is. Drama maybe? I don't think we're gonna get anything too good. There's just a lot of lore here. Yeah, I don't. There's too much. But long story short, she's annoying. Yeah, that's the shortest version. But the long story short, she was, on the issue. Let's go back to 2017-ish, where the anti-woke train is really moving. Type her with Tim Pool. That's a good idea. And I don't even really fully remember what exactly, like, how she fucking went off the deep end. Yeah, give me which one are we? Okay, we got a 7-minute video from 2 years ago. Let's see.
The baby's born. It's a baby.
Let's
so
yeah.
So
it has the same rights as every other human at that point, right?
This is
an American.
Oh, perfect. So she's covering when Tim talked to Lance from the Surfs, and he said that abortions are okay, but smoking meth while you're pregnant is not okay because it might harm the baby.
This is an interesting. I think this falls in line with the idea of anarcho-tyranny that we were talking about. My view of the modern left is that their positions are nothing but chaos. There's no logical pathway towards preserving life, improving people's lives. It seems to be.
That's because why does it seem that way? Pop quiz for the chat. I know it's almost 3 a.m., but it's important we can answer this question at all times. Why does it seem to Tim like the goal of the left is to create chaos? Why might that be the case? Why might that be a deliberative effort to create chaos? Because the 4 goals of the woke left are always and forever gain as much power as possible, destabilize the system, attack capitalism, usher in their Marxist utopia. The left's only goal is to get as much power as they can to implement practices and policies that will fundamentally destabilize the system and cause problems. They then use that destabilization in order to blame capitalism, to turn the populace against capitalism as the creator of all their problems. And once they got the populace turned against capitalism, they use that angst to usher in their Marxist utopia. If it seems as though the left is...
This is just not demonstrating what we're looking for. But she went off the deep end. I don't even remember exactly what happened, but there was so many people around her. Specifically, Mike Harlow. Shout out to Mike Harlow, who was, a pretty good friends with her. And that went south because she was one of these people who just believed that everything that she said was perfect, and any criticism that would come her way, whether it was constructive or not, was haters. Oh yeah, wasn't she fucking one of them? I think she was fucking one of them at one point, but no. All right, let's see what she's saying here.
I can't remember what her Leah Greenberg, who is the head of Indivisible, who's the organization that's organizing the No Kings protest. She
recently Carolyn said on my Twitter that she adores my debate style. I didn't have the heart to tell her that it's only because she's never been on the other end of it. But here's hoping, gentlemen. Here's hoping.
Hey, dilly to that. I would pay money to see them debate. Anything. Doesn't even matter.
Of brutal raids terrorizing communities across the country, the deployment of the National Guard to Los Angeles. We know there is a direct connection between the attacks on immigrants and the ways that Trump and Miller are creating and manufacturing chaos as a pretext for their crackdowns on dissent and protest for everyone. Trump is sending the military to Los Angeles. He is, at the same time, he is bringing tanks to DC. At the same moment that he is terrorizing communities, he is throwing himself a birthday parade on June 14th, this Saturday. He wants to.
Okay, can we just point out real quick? how fucking hilariously based it is when they're like, "You're a fascist." He's like, "Oh yeah, watch this. It's my birthday. Look at this military stopping on my birthday, bitch."
Shout out to Funkmaster General.
I just think that that's objectively one of the most hilarious trolls I've ever seen in my life. Just saying.
The first person to stop clapping goes to El Salvador.
I mean, I don't hate it. It's funny. Jeff Dice is this really brilliant guy. He was the head of the Mises Institute for years. But he said once, like, the way he framed it is that it's the imposed and the imposed upon and the imposers, and the imposers always pretend they're the imposed upon. So like you'll even
the imposers always pretend they're being imposed upon. Yep. So the notion of the woke people being completely taking over the political landscape, but then they're oppressed. They're so oppressed. Shout out to Waco Mind. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. A police car and impersonated an officer to gain what?
can see, like, even when they go, it's like
wait, you're saying Carolyn did this?
He's bringing in the
not that I would be very surprised.
Military. He's doing all this. It's like, yeah, in response to what? Like, it's like, even like in that last video we just saw, like where there's this black woman trying to go to work, and it's like, who's doing something to the other one here? This woman is just trying to go to work. You're stopping her from going there. And it's just so, like, the level of entitlement to just think that you have a right to do this to people is just
Isn't it
so
like the
insane.
worst house guest in the world? The one who comes over, like, roll out the red carpet, and they come in, and the first thing they do is complain. But they do it in the most passive aggressive way possible. You know what I mean? Oh, you don't have Coke Zeros? Oh. You know, they do that kind of shit. Oh, you don't have you don't
talking
have
about me?
Yeah, I'm talking about you shit. The point is, it's like when you have shitty Australian house guests like that, you know, it's gonna take one thing that I've noticed though is you can play this back on the annoying house guests. You can be like, yeah, we don't keep that. If you want that shit, go get it, fucker. And then they stop complaining immediately. And I feel like that's the move for Trump, right? He has to be like, yeah, well, I guess you should have stopped the riots then, fucker.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. Could you imagine, like, I try to imagine, like, if things like really went to shit here and I had to, like, you know, I was trying to go to Japan with my family or something like that, and they let us in. First of all, I would not feel that I have the right to go to Japan. I'd be like, man, I really hope they let me in. And then imagine they let you in and you immediately start going, you know, I think this is a racist country that doesn't do enough to cater to me.
I mean, he's just describing an entire genre of kick streamers. That's an entire genre where you go to an Asian country, specifically Japan or South Korea, and just fuck around and be a dick. And it's shitty.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus, like, who are you?
No, it's typical. I think that this is a tranny that's talking right now. I mean, at least that's what it looks like. But Jay, keep playing. We'll see if we can detect the
Dave,
voice
have you been to Japan?
I have not. I shouldn't be speaking about it.
What do you?
I've been, and they're actually.
You been?
If you go to Tokyo, no, if you go to Tokyo, there are actually a bunch of Nigerian immigrants, and they stick out like sore thumbs, and they're basically just trying to drug tourists all the time. But anyways, I've been.
He just basically said what I just
been
said.
to Japan, Jake?
Yeah, I have actually. I've been.
Oh, okay. Well, then, as a content expert, because you stepped foot there, then I'm going to immediately yield to you, sir.
Good.
Yeah,
and get
you win that
fucking
round.
zero sugar drinks as well, not just
That's
beer
right.
and full sugar. Anyway,
He wants to embrace the visuals of strength. What he does not understand is that power does not come from fascist theatrics. It comes from us, from the people, from the consent of the governed. That is why we are organizing. I see you on this call. If you are organizing or joining an event, or I saw a lot of folks who are joining No Kings on this call. If you are organizing or joining an event, I can tell you that you are part of, as of today, 1,800 events nationwide that are happening, and the numbers are rising.
How is this?
18, and most of those, the average age is 75. Shout out to equality and deference because vagina for the $5 PayPal. Thank you so very, very much, guys. Remember, $2 a push-up. I forgot it was Fuckmaster's birthday, so we are now up to what that gets us $66. That's 33 push-ups. Let's fucking do this.
If you are organizing,
thank you, Equality. Very much appreciated.
or joining an event, I can tell you that you are part of, as of today, 1,800 events nationwide that are happening, and the numbers are rising.
How is this not an actual color revolution. And I'm not talking color revolution in the sense of race, even though that is something that is now becoming quickly in America dividing line, but an old classic Marxist color revolution. They are plotting and planning this out meticulously so that they can raise hell all over the United States while flying the flag of another nation. Like at this point, how are these organizers not being put up for sedition at the very least, Dave?
Yeah, well, and another, similarity here, and I don't know, I haven't done enough of a deep dive into this, and I don't know how much good reporting there is on it, because this is only, these riots are only a few days old now, but the New York Post had a piece the other day talking about some of the groups that have been funding these protests, and at least one of them...
Act Blue. There's at least twice a day, that whenever I'm on TikTok, at least twice a day, I get a video of someone showing, well, I'll say at least 2 videos of somebody saying that they were paid to go to this this protest ever since they've been planning it. Some of them are showing actual correspondence and emails and stuff like that, and some of them are just saying it. So I'll assume some people are just saying it for clout, but they are paying people to be protesters. Ooh, speaking of which, I'm gonna play this. Yeah, okay, I might have a good side.
This is only, these riots are only a few days old now, but the New York Post had a piece the other day talking about some of the groups that have been funding these protests, and at least one of them was a group that had gotten a bunch of taxpayer dollars and was very closely aligned with the Democrat Party. And I will say that, as somebody, like, I've read a lot about like the color-coded revolutions that essentially the CIA has supported in Eastern Europe. And, like there's the Maidan Revolution in Ukraine in 2014, where it's well documented. The National Endowment for Democracy and USAID poured something like $100 million into that street protest. And then it's very easy when you do that to sit back and say, oh, what? This was the will of the Ukrainian people. This was just an organic uprising, right? But like, I think one of the things people are waking up to is that mass protests are almost never organic in the way that we think of being organic. It's like it takes organization and money to get these things done.
Our own revolution in the United States was not organic.
Right. That's
at
right.
all. Not even close to organic. It was run by propagandists and statesmen and people who were funneling money. And
I don't remember what I was looking for. What was it? It was something about the protest, but I don't remember. If it comes back up, it will come back up. So okay. Yep. It's just all people on their own. All the correspondence that we have and all the money transfers that we see, they're just fake.
And spies and everything else who all had agendas for the overthrow of the crown. That was not organic. I remember listening in history school and they were like, yeah.
Oh, that's what I was looking for. The paid protest.
Americans just got tired of the British kind of pushing them around. And so they went home and they grabbed, their brown besses and started blowing these redcoats all to hell. That ain't what happened at all. Well, not even close.
Man, and then people will use the term revisionist history or revisionist historian as like a pejorative or something like that. But the official narrative, it's not even just like with protests and the revolutions. It's like everything. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten in arguments with people where they'll say something like, even if you're arguing for like some type of deregulation, they'll be like, well, we tried it that way and it didn't work. And that's why we have these regulations now. And you're like, you think that's the history of the world? You think the history is that the people rose up and decided that we needed like the Securities Act of 1934? Like, that's how you think? Or no, you can.
Yeah, everybody just, it happened to be that so many people who voted for all these deportations just randomly decided, you know what? I'm going to pick this day and go there. There was who got in I think it was maybe Jake Rattlesnake who got into one of the
you think the history is that the people rose up and decided that we needed like the Securities Act of 1934? Like, that's how you think? Or no, you can no, it was people in that industry lobbied for regulations that they thought would benefit them. And so like, anyway, the point I was getting to is just that if you look at the year 2020, it is
what are we doing? We're showing up.
Nope.
Trump can have his pathetic.
All right. So, we can just kind of jump in anywhere, but Jake Rattlesnake, as we were just watching on the other stream, he actually got into the No Kings activist meeting where they are setting all this stuff up.
feel the same anxiety and anger and anxiousness that
Smash that like button,
every
guys.
morning I wake up with all of those feelings. But
I believe I've said there's 18,000 people watching. Yeah, organic.
I wake up with a different feeling as well. And it may sound counterintuitive, but I wake up every day filled also with joy.
You mean like this? Like watching this, the actual meeting where they're actually talking about it?
Actually
And my
speaking to a
joy is
transgender about revolution.
I know I live in maybe the most amazing cultural, societal, and governmental experiment in the history of the world. What we have done for 250 years in America is kind of implausible, right? We have governed ourselves for 250 years, and we've done it in a multicultural, multi-ethnic nation in which we realize that our differences are our strength. No civilization in the history of the world has done those two things together. And
we got the live chat
so
on
it's
the right,
natural that every generation ago it will come under assault. It is natural that there'll be a demagogue who
Inside
comes
the
along
meeting.
and says, you know, it's easier if you dispense with the inefficiency of democracy. Just give power to me. It'd be easier if we all just retreated to our tribes and thought of each other as enemies. And
so, I mean, it's just a bunch of people kind of giving their same thing. And
against him.
We need
But
Trump
let me
is so
just take a
bad.
moment
We need to do
appreciate
this.
How the progressive movement stood together to fight for David's release. There were more than 32 actions across the country on Monday, where thousands of people came together, not just to say free David, but also to demand an end to the raids. There was so much support from our allies and elected leaders across the country, and I know together, across race and gender and faith,
I'm just
we
researching about this
showed
woman.
And it goes on and on and on. So I will drop that link in the chat. Oh, come on. I'll drop the link in the chat if you want to see the whole thing. I mean, not that there's anything directly, obviously I can say, well, we're paying you, but the notion that this is just an organic thing is silly, because the immigration argument, the issue has been on the table for at least the last 3 years, and at least to this level. So to just act as if everybody just randomly decided to protest is naive. Shout out to Indyville! Welcome to the party with another $2 and another push-up. Thank you. So very, very much, sir. Very much appreciated. Welcome to the party, sir.
These Act of 1934, like that's how you think. Or no, you can no, it was people in that industry lobbied for regulations that they thought would benefit them. And so, like, anyway, the point I was getting to is just that if you look at the year 2020, it is stunning how much it mapped up to a color-coded revolution that the CIA would back. From
it had communists at the top of it.
Yes,
literal trained communists. By the way, they weren't even got these idiots on Twitter who just read the manifesto once and now they're content experts. These were actual trained communists.
It's almost like they're not even doing fascism at all.
Yeah, and so you had the.
It's almost like having laws and following laws is not fascism.
The protest in the street, the racial agitations, the overhauling of how we did our elections, the constant media like propaganda. It's like all of the hallmarks of a CIA color-coded revolution. And now to see Trump getting back in, and to see as we come into the summer months, they're starting back up with the riots. It's just there's a lot of interesting questions.
Summer of love, Dave.
Yeah,
I call it the summer
right.
of the sombrero. One of the
summer of sombrero 2020. We had the summer of love, and now we are in the summer of the sombrero. Dilly to that.
Chatters was wondering, do you think if we just spent $100 million on soccer balls, this problem would go away? He was just wondering. Yeah, I'm just asking questions, Dave. Okay.
Well, we get the soccer balls and then we just kick them all toward Mexico.
Yeah. It's just it's possible.
Hey, take it up with YouTube, and don't forget that we are live on Rumble. Every single stream is on Rumble. So if they if they yoink it here, just go say it over there. Plus, if you're in the Discord, I have all 3 of those open, so you can say whatever you need to say.
I'm just asking questions, Dave. Okay.
Well, we get the soccer balls and then we just kick them all toward Mexico.
Yeah. It's just it's possible that you go down there with soccer balls, you throw them in the rioters, and suddenly you have a different kind of entertainment. It was just a thought. Also, real quick, for those of you who are just joining the Rumble chat, the goal is 5,000 members in 90 days. If you could be so good as to open your wallets and give us all of your money, I would sure appreciate that. Go ahead, Jake.
And make sure we like the video.
Okay, real quick. Let me just think for a second, because again, I'm trying to find the thing where it was talking about. Two specific professional protesters, and I'm trying to think of where that came from. And I think it might be from this.
That's an illegal alien.
Let's see.
Alien being deported by ICE.
That's splitting. He's not opening the vehicle. Looks like they broke the glass.
I work good every time. I know bad guy.
He'll be taken to a detention center like this, or he'll probably get deported from the country. But luckily for him, he was just arrested in the sanctuary state of Washington, meaning this state actively does not cooperate with the federal government to turn over known illegal immigrants to federal immigration enforcement agencies like ICE.
Where the hell did I see this shit?
He licked it. He licked the lens. You know, I'm not a fan of a Nazi administration.
Whoa, yo, so we have an ICE agent right here. So how does ICE arrest illegals in a state that doesn't want them to?
It wasn't this one either. What the fuck was I watching? It specifically had a lady. Maybe it was. No, I looked at that already. We looked at this already. We're going to try one more. We're going to try one more. Was it this? Oh, God damn it. If it's not this, then I'm just going to try to search it.
So let's reimagine sitting behind the Elliot.
The largest
Sound would never show up to an event like this. He's not.
No, this wasn't it. All right. I'm gonna keep looking, but it's
members in 90 days. If you could be so good as to open your wallets and give us all of your money, I would sure appreciate that. Go ahead, Jake.
And make sure we like the video as well. But the next one we've got is Sam Tripoli, who is one of the OG tinfoil hats. And it's just,
by the way, he'll be here Thursday, this next Thursday. Usually we do Wednesday for seated guests, but we had to shuffle some things around.
Was this it? Hold on.
It's a party of Nazis and fascists.
Hold on. All right. Either way, I gotta pee. So let's play this. This looks familiar. This might be
the other party may not be all put together.
And Nazis, like, what do you mean by Nazis?
Hitler's fascists, people who want to use groups against each other, who feel that they can put one group of people in concentration camps.
Do you feel like Republicans want to kill Jews?
Yes, they want to kill Jews. They want to kill black people. They want to kill brown.
Can I just ask your credentials?
Yes. All right, we got it. This is it.
Nate, so we don't know what side Nate is
Let him. I don't care.
Just so you know, I'm with a group that's
racist. You're not letting the brown man speak. You think the brown man can't understand that there's a left wing and a right wing, and that he needs you, the white savior, to come in and protect him.
Is just pointing out that there are some folks here who will take words and
let them do it. I don't care.
I don't like you, bitch. Semantic obfuscation and projection.
I
don't give a shit. Let them deport me. Who the fuck cares about these? These are fucking. These are cunts who have no fucking balls and they will throw. Let them throw. I don't care. I don't give a shit about trolls. I know that. I don't give a shit.
Who is he with? Why don't you talk?
I don't care about trolls like Charlie Kirk, Fuentes, and these fucking white ass bitches. I don't give a shit about that.
And that's who you just might be speaking
to. Let them hear it. You know.
He literally just said these white ass bitches. Use these white ass bitches.
What trolls? I don't give a shit.
Can I ask who are you with? Can I ask who are you with?
Thank you.
Who are you with?
I'm with America.
No, but you asked me who am I with, so I'm asking you who are you with?
Well, you're acting like a reporter with a.
I am a reporter.
Okay.
You want to see my press credentials? Wait, here's my press credentials.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so who are you with?
I'm right now. I'm representing myself, and I'm representing the folks at Rise and Resist who have been trained
Rise and Resist.
Rise and Resist. I wonder what Rise and Resist. Waco, you're still here, right?
How much do they pay you to wear this vest?
Absolutely nothing.
Really? So I did some digging, and the woman trying to stop my interview is named Karen Shaw. She is a professional protester. I found her at almost 100 different protests. Let's look at her portfolio, shall we? Here's her outside Trump Tower saying TikTok time's up. Here's her saying ban guns, not drag. Amazing. This is her telling us that lies have consequences. She's also very passionate about abortion. Even in the video right now, she's just wearing a hat that says abortion on it. This is deranged behavior, by the way. I studied psychology in college, and I'm confident that I can diagnose this person as insane.
I mean, I studied psychology in college too, and I do have that degree, but I mean, I don't really love the whole psychology speak being thrown around. But could be worse uses.
Here, by the way, I studied psychology in college, and I'm confident that I can diagnose this person as insane. Sometimes she gets less creative, though, and just holds a sign that says enough. Now, here I found her working with a different professional protester that I've exposed. This is Stuart Waldman. He was there when they raised the Palestinian flag over City Hall in Rhode Island.
Everyone knows you. Everyone knows me. You are. They know what you do.
I know what you do as well, Stuart Waldman. You are on the board of riseandresist.org, the company that is paying people like Karen for a second job as a professional protester.
So, are you willing to take this back, Wake of Mind? Because they are indeed paying people to protest. Maybe much of your misinformation is propaganda.
And the donation link to give you money is just Act Blue, which is a fundraising platform for.
Didn't I say that before? It's almost like I knew what the fuck I was talking about.
The donation link to give you money is just Act Blue, which is the fundraising platform for the Democrat Party. That's who you are, Stuart Waldman. Now back to Karen. I found her with another professional.
Of course her name's Karen. Of course her name's Karen. Yep, you caught it. Shout out to Dylan Soup. Welcome to the party. And yeah, you caught it before me. Of course.
That party. That's who you are, Stuart Waldman. Now back to Karen. I found her with another professional protester that I've exposed. This was back at the Tesla protest. This is just a few photos of this other professional protester out of maybe 50 that I found. It's clearly a very well-established industry, and Rise and Resist is just the tip of the iceberg. Now here's some more about Karen. I did find her Instagram where she just documents herself vandalizing New York City. She puts these chalk signs all over the place, like this one right outside the Trump Hotel. She also likes to flip off Cybertrucks and just post that on Instagram as well. If you just scroll through her profile on Instagram, it is the best case study for reopening the asylums that you can possibly make. Now Karen is the Associate Director of Development
Wake on, where you at?
And Special Events at Lincoln Center Theater, which is devastating because Lincoln Center is a beautiful place that just got a little less beautiful after learning that piece of information.
I asked me how much do I dare to hit this place.
I'm not asking you. You seem passionate about it.
I'm cute. Yeah. All the fucking right-wing Nazis and fucking states, right? Charlie got big advantage.
If Republicans want,
I never stated that I know this particular person. I said I've seen videos where people are showing correspondence with Act Blue. And then what is this resist and whatever are direct, their payment link is directly Act Blue. Oh my God. I mean the level of no. Like, believe whatever you want. I mean, I've just showed you the proof that this guy has very well done research very well. If you want to believe if you don't want to believe your lying eyes, go for it. But you said they are not paying people to protest. And then I showed you someone who's paid to protest. And now, I need a pay stub. That's what we call moving the goalpost. Call that one Johnny the Mouth.
Charlie got big advantage.
Let me just ask you, just if Republicans want to kill Jews, why is Trump so with Israel? Like, what?
Israelis and Jews are not the same people. Jews are
No, this is, first of all, there's 3 in this video. So you're saying that you think that you accept that these 3 are paid protesters, but there's no other paid protesters. Their entire Rise and Resist organization is just those 3 people. Come on, man. Just take the, I don't understand why you guys have such a hard time. Like, we all see that you're wrong, Waco Mind. We all see it. You're not saving face. Just be like, fuck, I didn't realize it was like that. Okay, and your claim was that they are not paying people to protest. And you were wrong. And now you're moving the goalpost because you were wrong. Did I ever make the claim that all 10 million protesters were paid? Nope. Didn't say that at all. That would be a straw man. You're one of them. If it's such a loser thing to be doing this show, why the fuck are you watching it? At least I'm getting paid to do this. You're doing this in your free time, you fucking loser. Jesus fucking Christ. I absolutely did not use the words where I said they were all paid. I would never say that because I know that there are plenty of retarded, homeless, and unemployed people who do this because they feel like they're doing something and they're not. But you stand corrected. They are indeed paying people. I did not give a number. I said they are paying people to protest. And you said they are not paying people to protest. So you were wrong. It's just that simple. Yes, That's how it works. You pay people to go out, and then other fucking retards are like, oh, people are going out to do this, I should join. Yes. Yes. Do you have anything that would refute what I'm saying? Whether there's 10 million people or 12 people watching? Does that make me any more wrong or right? Because it certainly doesn't change how wrong you are.
Tripoli, who is one of the OG tinfoil hats, and it's just
By the way, he'll be here Thursday. This
Never made that claim.
next Thursday. Usually we do Wednesday for seated guests, but we had to shuffle some things around because
No, why? Whoa. Indie film? They don't pay people to protest. What are you, a conspiracy theorist? Paying people to protest? I've never heard of such a thing.
he usually does his show on Wednesday. We were glad that Dave could join us today, though. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Love Sam. Sam's a great guy.
Yeah. So he's one of the OG tinfoil hats. Perfect segue because you were just talking about communism.
He seeks to reign.
We're in the Bolshevik War right now, bro. And right now what's coming up is all the pride stuff is going to be, okay, so I had this.
So for those just listening, Sam Tripoli is talking in 2023 here with a side-by-side of the current riots.
Woman come on my pod.
I'm just realizing I did not see. Where the fuck did it go? CT! Welcome to the party. You may have picked up that Wake on Mine was saying that they did not pay anybody to protest, and I was just giving evidence that indeed they pay people to protest. In general, this is just a different show that the Crucible does. I didn't really know that they did stuff outside of their blood sport debating. And especially because I am a big fan of Dave, and Dave did not have his best showing in their first conversation. I saw this the Rumble exclusive, and I was like, hey, let's check it out. I said, technically, we're paying them to protest. Who has the time unless they're on welfare? Yup. DJ Isolated said it's a verifiable fact that there are paid protesters. What's the point in arguing that there's not? You can't deal with your side being hypocritical, astroturfing fools?
Bingo.
Seems like it. It did not need to go this far. If you just been like, oh, shit, I didn't realize. Then I'd be like, yeah, that's crazy, right? And we would have moved on. But you have to dig your heels in. You can't be wrong and strong, baby.
Is all the pride stuff is going to be, okay, so I had this.
For those.
Brilliant point. So the other thing that was said is, I should star these so I don't have to keep fucking. The protests are literally about resisting fascism. Are they though? I think it's a little bit more about either being paid, being bored, and stealing shit.
I was just listening. Sam Tripoli is talking in 2023 here with a side-by-side of the current riots.
Woman come on my.
Yep.
My podcast, her name's Mel K. She goes, I've been talking to some people in the intelligence, and they go, this gay pride stuff is going away. And the next thing you're going to see are immigration riots. This is going to be right around the next election. So hand to God, we do this episode. Next day, Starbucks is like, we're banning all the pride stuff. And now you start seeing these, they're putting little breadcrumbs out, man. Little breadcrumbs. Oh, I saw this one thing in Chicago. Oh, yeah, illegal immigrants are upset.
In case you can't see, because of the chat, Sam Tripoli is talking back in 2023, and we are seeing footage of 2025.
About where they're staying. And these illegal immigrants who speak no English are holding up perfectly written English signs saying we're tired of how we're being treated. And now you're starting to see this over and over again. Eric, so everyone's always like when all these Republican governors are like sending these immigrants all over the country. It's like, yeah, you're showing those Democrats. Bro, they're moving assets. I know it sounds crazy, but that is 100 what is percent.
What do you mean they're moving assets?
Okay, pause it.
Let me guess. That's another right-wing conspiracy theory, like all of the things that were called conspiracy theories that then turned out to be true. I forgot about that poll, but yeah, I didn't see it as racist either, but apparently they did. And it seemed like Dave was kind of just going along, rolling with the punches, but either way. Yeah, I definitely remember when Act Blue got caught funneling the donations for wildfires into the super PAC. Not to mention that Harry Sisson and that whole crew was paid by Act Blue. And he filmed saying, how does burning up cars, looting Apple stores, and waving the Mexican flag while burning the American flag fight fascism? Well, it doesn't. DJ said, remember, I am a tinfoiler like Sam. Our accuracy is out of this world. Bingo. Yup. Well, I said, why does he get prediction credit? He said some lady gave him this info. Well, I mean, you know. Yeah. Okay. So, now we can agree. Now we can agree. Because I am not trying to be on a team, and I am not trying to win a game. I am trying to live in the society that I want to see. And so, yes, I can absolutely agree that when there is large-scale right-wing protests, which are very, 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 very rare, then we know that people like Ray Epps and other FBI agents are in the fucking crowd. And those are not organic either. The gathering of the speech of J6 obviously was about the speech, but the rest of it was spurred on by paid protesters and agent provocateurs. This is like basic. Yes. That's precisely what I'm talking about. So like you're trying to play a team game and be like, oh, you're on the other team. So anything that you say is true, I should just fight it because you're on the other team. But I'm not on the other team. Unless you're not on Team America, then okay, then we're not on the same team. But as long as you're on Team America first, then we can easily say Act Blue looks and very much is shady. And also, the Republicans are shady as fuck as well. There was a lot of bullshit that went on January 6th that was not organic in the same exact way that this No King shit is not organic. Shout out to Arrow again. Thank you for that $2. Said, let the dogs out. And we're into the baby little crumbs. You guys came through. I got to redo this. And of course, that adds another push-up. Where we at? So, that is, oh my goodness, $75. Oh, Jesus, I gotta do, oh man. Oh, just happened. There we go. Oh man, I am gonna be hurting after this one. Keep that coming, and more push-ups will be done.
Yeah,
Look
you're
how
showing those Democrats,
puny I am.
They're moving assets. I know it sounds crazy, but that is 100. What is percent?
What do you mean they're moving assets?
Okay, pause it right there.
Coming into the
pause it right
country,
there.
bro.
Dave, how did Sam Tripoli knock this out of the park? Not only did he knock it out of the park, he didn't even get a single detail wrong.
Well, according to Funkmaster, it's whoever told him, but.
And he predicted this almost 2 years in advance. Didn't get a single detail wrong. I have not heard anybody make these predictions that this was what was up and coming, was going to be massive immigration riots with the phase out of Pride. He tied these two things together perfectly. He was correct about the moving assets. I went and checked. How the hell did he get this right?
That's a good.
Moving the goalpost is definitely neutrality. CT said, I do find it a coincidence that who they have us arguing about immigrants and riots in the USA. Trump left the G7 conference and scrambled a bunch of planes over Iran. World War III is starting. We are distracted. What else is new? Okay, so then, yeah, we are on different teams because the world is not my team. I only insofar as it makes America okay, because I don't think that you can be a global society without being authoritarian. There's just too many people. But yeah, I think we can all admit that we have our personal biases. None of us are neutral, and that's okay as long as we acknowledge our biases. And when we are wrong, we admit that we're wrong. Because when we don't, then it makes our entire side or team look bad. Arrow said, I can only do 3 push-ups without shaking and gasping. I prefer dumbbells. Well, hey, when it's Swogo time, you guys pay yourselves however you like.
Riots with a phase out of Pride. He tied these two things together perfectly. He was correct about the moving assets. I went and checked. How the hell did he get this right?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. I mean, he said
he doesn't have a crystal ball, and you guys know what I say about people who can predict the future, that you should listen to them. You don't always have to agree with them. Alex Jones being a perfect example. People cannot predict the future, but if they are able to predict the future, then it means they're paying attention to the right things and connecting the right dots that other people may or may not be connecting. Nobody has a crystal ball.
He seemed to be alluding to a source there, but I'm not sure who it is, that someone was telling him.
You said intelligence.
We're going with this talking point. So you believe genuinely that if we looked into Joe Biden's past, if we looked into Kamala Harris's past, that there would be no crimes? Okay, dude. Shout out to Guam Tech. Welcome to the party. New baby situation. Dilly to you. Family first. Congratulations. Well, exactly. If you're paying attention to the right things, it's not that hard to see where things are going. Things move very slowly. And so, but you know, there's levels to this shit.
Did he get this right?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. I mean, he said he seemed to be alluding to a source there, but I'm not sure who it is, that someone was telling him.
He said intelligence sources, didn't he?
Yeah. So I guess he got some information. I mean, look, it is pretty damn accurate to have been making that prediction in 2023. So that is something worth, really thinking about. I think that there's the gay and gender insanity stuff, that was always more of like a short-term kind of like culture war issue that they like to push. I think a big part of why it got pushed so hard was because it came in the wake of Occupy Wall Street, and they wanted to, and also in the after Obama's first term. And this was kind of a thing where they could like radicalize left-wingers and get them off the scent of power. Like stop worrying about the banks and the wars, which is what lefties had been protesting in the previous decade. Oh, go after all this, the degeneracy stuff. Immigration and unfettered immigration and drastically changing the demographics of the country has always been much more their long-term plan. Mm-hmm. So like, it makes sense to me that this would be the next thing they would pivot to, but that is pretty stunning accuracy for really Sam to have gotten right 2 years ago.
Now I retweeted him and I said, "Man, good job." And he DM'd me and he was like, "Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate that." But it was very well done. There were others, I'm sure, that you could point to who were probably making some other types of predictions which alluded to this. But within this time scale, this was eerily accurate.
Well, they've got a thing here with immigration that I feel like the Trump haters, they kind of feel like this is their.
Yes, Trump is a felon. See how that works?
Or go to now, and it's because all the other shit they've done hasn't worked, including attempts to impeach, imprison, and assassinate him have all failed. But there is something where, like, the mass deportation game is a very risky game to play, and it's very difficult logistically to get it done. Americans do not like seeing, violence against people in the country. This was the what they did in the civil rights movement. Like Martin Luther King, they picked Birmingham, Alabama intentionally because they knew they would get this reaction, and then they kind of forced the entire country to watch it. And
it's almost like politics is all about optics.
And no matter, even a lot of people who were like what we would probably call racist, maybe supported segregation or something like that, still had a tough time watching an image of young black men in suits and ties being, having dogs sicked on them and stuff like that, for good reason, And there is something where, look, even if you say like people who came into this country illegally don't have a right to be here, and we have to remove at least a lot of them. There is something where like it's a tough thing to actually enforce. And
no, clearly, obviously not, because he is running for or he did run for president. He is the president, does run the military, got impeached twice. It's almost like all that was optics and politics and theater. It's almost like we can see through that. And again, the idea, the fact that you'd bring up, oh, he's a felon, is to imply that every other politician is a law-abiding citizen, which is adorable if you actually think that.
And so I think they felt like this is where they can take their stand against Donald Trump. And, you know,
I agree. And that's a big frustration, because I feel like they're focusing on the wrong people. Like there's, you know, they ran on, you know, getting rid of the violent criminals and all that stuff. And there's plenty of them. Get those the fuck out of here. And even the Abrego Garcia, you know, they brought him back now. But even that, where you know, it was a pretty clear case that he is a gang member, that he was a wife beater. Now he's meeting human trafficking charges. So like, yeah, not really gonna lose sleep over whether or not that guy actually got the specific level of due process that he needs, because we know. And what was the term that was used? It was similar to like not unforced error, but just like it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter that we didn't do this part, because we know for a fact that it wouldn't have changed anything. But yeah, and of course then CT asks the obvious question: well, why is he a felon? What was the felony that he committed? And again, for those of you who are too stupid, this is a bit with the crickets. I don't expect you to be able to answer in that time. It's implying that you're not going to be able to answer. He said, I'm pretty sure possession of cocaine is a felony, kind of like what they found in Biden's West Wing, or taking money from China and Ukraine under the table, 10% for the big guy. But source? Is there a source?
Hopefully Trump can do this in a savvy way where he's able to get it done, because it does seem like this is kind of the chance to break up their plan, which was mass demographic change in America.
And who was it that he defrauded?
And if we don't get it done now, I don't think we're going to get it done.
Well, I think all he has is force, right? All he can really do at this point is employ significant and serious force. And, you know, maybe at this point, it would be a good idea to arrest a governor or two. Maybe it would be.
I mean, we've all seen this clip, right? But one in the chat, if you've not seen the fire the prosecutor clip,
a good idea to arrest some officials in the government at this point. You know what I mean? Even if they get off or whatever.
That wasn't the question. The question is, who did he defraud? So if you have 34 counts, felony counts of fraud, that means you defrauded somebody. Who was defrauded? Should be very simple. Okay, if you were a murderer, then it's for murder. And when we say who was murdered, you point to the victim. So if you're saying somebody was defrauded, who was defrauded?
It still might not be a bad idea to do, because look, this social upheaval is showing us that we've been invaded. Now, there is an optical backlash that's going on here that I think the left fully expected, but is still having trouble dealing with. I mean, they tried to hand out the American flags, and they were like, nope, we're only going to do the Mexican flags. And that has been an optical nightmare. Americans, like you rightly point out, they don't like to see violence in the streets, but they also don't like seeing people wave other nations' flags. They hate that. It really upsets them, especially if they're waving other nations' flags while they're, you know, blowing shit up, throwing Molotov cocktails at police officers, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. And if you think about, that's why the media jumped on the January 6th footage and made such a big deal out about that, because it's in general, Americans have a reasonable aversion to like, what are you doing? You're wrestling with cops, you're breaking windows. We don't want to be on board with that. And so what I think is what's worked in Trump's favor here is that the stuff you just mentioned, the images are bad. And now also because of 2020, whenever the media tries to go mostly peaceful as there's a car burning on fire behind them, everyone's just already like, yeah, we've seen that script before and this is bullshit.
Absolutely.
So that's
I
working.
got to
in
get you
Trump's
on
favor.
record very quickly, and you, Jake, on record. I want to get you both your guys' answer to a pivotal question. Will this lead to another Kyle Rittenhouse situation, Dave? If you had to predict it right.
How am I pivoting? How am I pivoting? I'm asking you about the 34 felony counts. Who was defrauded? I already answered your question, your original question. Will you say that he's a felon? Yes. So we've put that aside. We both agree that Donald Trump is a felon. We can move past whether or not he is a felon. Now now that we agree that he is a felon, the question to you is who was defrauded? I don't think it's a difficult question. I think it's a difficult question because you can't answer it, but you seem to have a different opinion. So, who was defrauded?
Record. I want to get you both your guys' answer to a pivotal question. Will this lead to another Kyle Rittenhouse situation, Dave? If you had to predict it right now, and you're on the record, and we could source back.
That's a poll. Will these riots produce another Kyle Rittenhouse? I want you guys to get in your votes because I want to think about this out loud, but I don't want to influence your votes too much. Funkmaster said the people of Manhattan are also about to elect a socialist Muslim to be mayor. The people of Manhattan aren't very smart.
Stupid.
CT said he's not a felon. Lunch. Don't surrender that point. He is a felon. Don't dig your heels in on a point when a judge said that he's a felon. That is how the law works. I agree with you that he didn't commit any felonies and he didn't defraud anybody. But it is a statement of fact that Donald Trump is a felon. That doesn't mean he's automatically a bad person. That doesn't mean he even did the things that he's accused of. What that means is that the government has established this category and Donald Trump is in it. So I would say to you, because we're on the same page that it's bullshit, you don't dig your heels in on a point that you don't need to, because again, we don't have the answer on who was defrauded and what money that was. So Waco said Trump deceived banks, insurers, and others by massively overvaluing his assets and exaggerating his net worth on paper used in making deals and securing finances. So that's not how real estate works. So the banks must have been really upset, right? Or no, the insurers must have been really. Or no, they made money. So what I'm getting at here is that this is lawfare. Yes, he is a felon, but unless you want to say that every single person in the United States who's gotten a guilty verdict is guilty, then you have no point unless you can give me the details of what he did wrong. You're saying all of these things, but which banks were deceived? What was the process of the money that somebody was supposed to get and they didn't get it? I'm asking these questions because they don't have answers. They don't have answers. They changed the law specifically to spin this this case. That is what happened. So if I were to get arrested for owning a dog, and they made the law that owning a dog is illegal, I'm pretty sure, if you're an honest person, that you would say, hey, okay, fine. They changed the law yesterday, and that it's illegal to own a dog, and he does own a dog, so that's the law. That's the end of the story? Okay. If that's how you look at the world, then I now understand why you're saying the things that you're saying. But in my humble opinion, that is a naive way to look at the world because it is very obviously not comporting with reality. He said the felony only applies if there's a secondary charge applied to it, which it never was. The real estate charge for financing has literally nothing to do with the 34 counts. Okay, well, let's go with the, so, I'm discussing, well, let's just say Trump being in office, and someone is saying that he is, come on, a felon. I agreed because a court did rule him guilty on 34 felony counts. But is this actually accurate, or were the real estate charge or were the real estate charges separate from what he was found guilty of? Let's just see. And so here is an example of, I made a statement that he is a felon. CT is saying, hold on, that's not correct. And so it's sending me, no. I'm going to take these words humbly and ask. Statement: Trump is a felon first whose New York city conviction of 34 counts of falsifying business records, all tied to his attempts to cover up hush money. That's right. I forgot about that. He was convicted of 34 counts of falsifying business records. These charges stem from misreporting reimbursements to Michael Cohen, as you know, real estate does. To the hush money for Stormy Daniels. And so again, that brings us back to, okay, if the felony is about the Stormy Daniels money, then let's talk about the morality of stepping out on your marriage. MLK must be a terrible, terrible, terrible person, in your opinion, right? So in Mershon issued unconditional, meaning no added prison time. The real estate charges are separate. Civil case filed by a New York Attorney General. This is a civil fraud suit, not criminal charges. It accused Trump of Trump's company of inflating values, as you said, which I agreed to. Criminal real estate related charges, not in this context. There are no criminal convictions for real estate fraud, only the ongoing indictments in Georgia. So even though I was willing to accept that, because I don't believe that the actions that he did are anything that should disqualify him from being a candidate in my mind, I was even wrong about that. So no, he did not defraud any banks. He did not defraud any insurers to a felony degree. He paid off a whore. The worst thing a president can do. DJ said, Waco's mad. This particular rich man cooks the books. Not that everyone is complacent with this practice. Not mad that any rich person or politician like them does it. Just the orange man. Want to stick it to Trump, reform the entire system to be fair. Good luck with that. Monkmaster said he also snuck away from whatever supermodel girlfriend he had to ninja his way into a department store to get handsy with an ugly reporter in the changing room. Totally. So CT corrects me here. So the 34 counts are for misusing campaign donations, the whole paying off the porn star thing. The Mar-a-Lago charge is for overinflating financial amounts, which, again, is common practice. And so what does this mean then? Why is this a relevant statement? Given everything that we just talked about with this, why is this relevant? Genuine question, because I don't Orange face, one of that. I just genuinely don't know what you want me to take away from the fact that, hey, he did some stuff, the kind of stuff that people of that ilk always do, and we don't trust politicians and for that matter, rich people to a certain extent because of the fact that they always do this stuff. But just the orange man.
Will this lead to another Kyle Rittenhouse situation, Dave?
Oh, so I forgot to even bring this up. I say no, but only in the sense that I think there's going to be something similar where it's not going to be as clear cut, where it's going to be somebody is going to be looking back at Kyle and be like, oh, I got this. And they are going to do exactly what the left was saying Kyle Rittenhouse was doing, going out and looking for a hunt. I think that is more likely than some crazy, like, physical, like the physics of everything that happened with Kyle Rittenhouse. I don't think we ever going to see something like that again.
And you, Jake, on record, I want to get you both of your guys' answer to a pivotal question. Will this lead to another Kyle Rittenhouse situation, Dave? If you had to predict it right now, and you're on the record, and we could source back the video to this.
That's a really good question. I'm leaning toward no. I'm only like 60-40 or something on that. But I'd say the reason I'd say no is that it does seem like Donald Trump made an early decision this time that he's not going to let 2020 happen again. And so I don't know how much, but I mean, Hegseth's tweet about sending in the Marines was like 24 hours after the violence started breaking out there, and maybe 48 hours, but it was real quick. And then there's a lot of people who were arguing. They're like, well, he's making it out like it's as bad as 2020. And it's like, no, the point is we're not going to wait until it gets that bad. And so I do think that Donald Trump at least is signaling really hard right now that he's taking on this fight and he's going to send in the forces to put it down. Because one of the major factors that led to the Kyle Rittenhouse situation is that no one was coming to help. The police stood down. The feds didn't send anyone in. And so then you had these citizens saying like, hey, no, we're going to go out and protect the property and the people. And so if I had to guess, I'd say I don't think that's going to happen again. But I'm not confident in that.
I think it will happen again. I'm leaning definitely towards it will happen again, because if you look at what's happened in LA over the past few days, the governors are actually standing in the way of Donald Trump's will and of bringing in the National Guard. So if you do,
and they're giving their cops stand-down orders.
Yeah, if these protests do happen nationwide on June the 14th on this No King's Day, then what you're going to see is you're going to see patriots who say, okay, well, if the governor's going to give stand-down orders, then we're going to come out, we're going to mobilize, we're going to have guns with us, and we're not going to let our cities get burned down. So I'm leaning towards yes.
We have a problem. I'm going to make my prediction too. I think that there'll be more than one. I think that there'll be multiple, and here's why I think that. I'll give my reasoning for it. It's called what I call.
So I think they're talking about not necessarily the specifics, but somebody who's going to be caught up and have to, fight their way out. In that case, I think, yeah, we're probably going to see some type of scuffle that is going to be, making headlines. But specifically a Kyle Rittenhouse, I don't think so. CD said, I don't love Trump. I'm speaking in obvious norms about politics and law. Trump is literally starting a new deep state with Palantir and about to enter a war with Iran literally tonight. Doesn't mean that, like, that is stuff that we are like, what the fuck is going on? Not paying off a porn star.
Spillover. You're right. It's all about the nobody's coming to help. The thing is like they're a tube of toothpaste. If Donald Trump does clamp down the major metropolitan American city areas and the progressive areas, these protesters will move to the suburbs. That's what they did before in 2020. That's what led to them being in Wisconsin, which had loose gun laws where you could have ARs to begin with and people could open carry. That was a terrible idea for them to ever have done in the first place. But there will be spillover. And if you have spillover where these guys just have to go and riot, they will pick neighborhoods and things like this. And I do think that you will see an exact repeat, except it'll be way worse because there'll be more than one. Imagine that this happens on the Day of Rage or something akin to it, where there's 3 or 4 Rittenhouses due to the spillover. I think it's entirely possible and perhaps even likely. So that's my my prediction.
Have you seen them? A lot of them are Chinese, and a lot of them
a lot of you are saying saying no. But I wonder then, were you thinking about more specifically Kyle Rittenhouse, or were you thinking about just the notion of that type of, let's call it a firefight? So we'll end this poll and we'll get a little bit more specific and say, will there be a clear self-defense shooting incident at these riots? So most of you are saying no at Kyle Rittenhouse, but it seems like they're speaking a little bit more broadly. Funkmaster said, of course, it's going to get worse because everyone is fed up with these LARPers. Bingo. Yup.
I think it's entirely possible and perhaps even likely. So that's my my prediction.
Have you seen them? A lot of them are Chinese, and a lot of them are military
Russian,
age people.
too.
And I'm telling you, they're moving. And this is what's going to be right around 2024
She's back.
election. Immigration riots, people going nuts, and as listen to this, and you'll start seeing all the little breadcrumbs. I'm telling you.
Oh, so were they black and or a Democrat?
That's what they want you to think.
You're buying it. Oh, I thought
They're
I was, no, you're the
moving
puppet.
assets, bro.
You're the puppet.
They're moving
What
assets.
do you mean, like military people?
Dude,
man.
study the Bolshevik War. It is happening in
Bolshevik
real time.
revolution?
100%. But I just
Gotta have the drones. Gotta have the drones.
wanted to get that out to everybody because I'm trying to warn people. This is what's next.
So what does it say? No kings on June 14th mobilize. We are a people of principle and honor. Are you though? We honor our commitments and stand by our allies. All right, I'll give you that. We defend against aggression by dictators. Do you know? We care for veterans and children. No, the fuck you don't. Remember Frogan's, I hope y'all get me PTSD. That's these people. We support a healthy national and international economy, community, and environment. All right, yeah, I guess so. We are the world leader trusted to uphold the stability of rule of law. I would agree with that, but I don't like that, and I don't want that to be the case anymore. So, I said Trump is a megalomaniac, a self-aggrandizing, self-promoting lolcow for the problem pukers. I don't know what that means, but yeah. Still better than Kamala.
He absolutely fucking nailed it. And I love when guys like Sam Tripoli get this shit right. It's the best. All right. This is the military, I think, getting shelled in Afghanistan. Oh, actually, no, sorry. That's in LA. Oh. And then here we've got, we normally do chat of the week. It's kind of it's a segment that I'm really hoping catches on. Dave, we've seen him come a little bit more over to this side with this one in terms of the police brutality, but normally he's more into the pacifism and that sort of stuff. But me and Andrew on the Christian nationalist side, we're more into that. We're like, real, just punch him in the face.
Boom. Well, yeah, right. Like, well, fucking EB3 is over here like, oh, you won't debate me because I won't pay you. Like, no, I just won't give you free stuff that you don't need to debate me because you want to debate me. You can just debate me. You can just say the things. No, I need all the permissions that other people pay for, but I definitely will not just pay $3.
What do you think? If you had to grade that punch, Dave, what would you put that punch at? I would give it a solid 7.
Yeah, it was not bad. It looked like you didn't want to take that on the chin, but it wasn't like a professional punch. But no, I mean, look, man, I just think that, look, I believe in liberty, and I think that
I said shit. Me too.
The first enemy of liberty is the mob, way before even the state becomes the enemy of liberty, which is, like the state is the greatest enemy of liberty,
well
but the mob is
said.
the first. And
ooh, that's a fucking bar. That's a fucking bar. And CT, remind me, how many people died on January 6th? Oh, none. Yeah, that's right. But god damn, the state is the greatest enemy of liberty, but the mob is the first. God damn.
But it wasn't like a professional punch. But no, I mean, look, man, I just think that, look, I believe in liberty, and I think that the first enemy of liberty is the mob, way before even the state becomes the enemy of liberty, which is, like the state is the greatest enemy of liberty, but the mob is the first. And I think that when you put yourself in a violent riot, you forego your rights. I like in the sense that, like, if it's
in the same sense that if you murder somebody, you give up your rights.
Impossible. And whether you lived in an anarchist society, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't have to be a government that's cracking down on it. It could be the property owners. But if there is a group of, let's say, 10, like, thugs start just destroying things, or there's 2 of them in there who aren't destroying, but the other 8 are, you have no way of discerning who is now an innocent party and who isn't. And if you tell them, let's say it's on your property, and you go, you all.
How violent, how, like, I'm worried about goriness with this one. Is there something gory in this, Funkmaster?
All have to leave right now, and none of them do. You're all a part of this mob now. So I think it's open season in that sense. I mean, I wouldn't suggest, like, with some reasonable limitations. I don't think you should just go.
You should do anything immoral, but you should have a right to defend your property and your person.
And you should put down the riot by any means necessary.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean more.
By any means. Oh, wait, that's them saying that they need to do this because reasons. So, all right, we've got another clip here from our boy, Funk Master General. Actually, I'm going to speed that a little bit. What do we got? California driver runs over protester in downtown LA. And of course, we hit the like button because why? Why? Would you ever watch a video and not hit the like button?
New video shows the scene at 5th and Hill around 7:30 when a protester was run over by the driver in this.
Nope. That's not true. Who are their names? And Nixick was the next day. So shout out to so-called Sigma. Did you ever gamble your brother's college funds? Nope. My brother is older than me, so he was at college long before I was the age of being able to gamble. And my dad's a doctor, so he just paid for us to go to college. So I don't know what to tell you, but welcome to the party. All right. Driver runs over protester.
Scene at 5th and Hill around 7:30 when a protester was run over by the driver in this red Toyota.
They hit someone, they ran over her leg.
Protesters said they were blocking the intersection when the woman was hit. After the crash, the driver took off. Minutes later, paramedics rushed the injured protester to the hospital.
She's thankfully safe, but this is what's kind of going on.
The violent hit and run marked the end of what was otherwise a quiet day downtown. There was an afternoon protest outside City Hall.
Does anybody know does anybody know what this means?
And an evening rally in Pershing Square. But as protest
Waco, if you put, are you already in the Discord, Waco? I will give you a night pass if you want to come and hang out in the after party.
As continue, many downtown businesses are boarded up. On this Father's Day, almost every shop was shut down in the jewelry district.
We're kind of timid about what to expect.
Erica Mosley and PJ Bastiani are visiting from the Bay Area.
We were trying to just, come downtown to get some brunch, to get something to eat, and it took us a minute to even find that food market that's still open. But, blocks and blocks of everything was closed.
Blair Beston is the executive director for the Downtown Historic Corps business.
Ah, you're bald. I got it. Yeah, I would be jealous too, but like I said, when somebody tried to insult my hair on TikTok, there's plenty you can make fun of, but the hair ain't it, baby. The hair ain't it.
Improvement District. She said the curfew and ongoing protest.
This is Discord, where we have all of our conversations, and well, you know what? Instead of doing that, why don't I just do this? If you guys are enjoying the show, the party rages on 24/7 over in our Discord. The link is pinned to the top of the chat and is absolutely free to join 24/7. We're in there hanging out, having a great time. And guys, it is absolutely free. However, if you are a member of this channel here on YouTube, you can scroll right below that video and hit that join button. Starts at $2.99. There's a few different tiers, but $2.99 will get you in. It gets you members only live streams here on YouTube, all that other good stuff. But it opens up the full Discord server. So we've got the free chat that is open to anyone. Anybody can join and talk. But as you can see, that is just one of our channels. There's a bunch of different channels here, including our Disciple chat for members only, our Word of the Day watch party, where we're talking about all this stuff. And of course, we have the voice channel here, where we are hanging out at this moment. Shout out to everybody in the Discord server. Say hello and tell them to come and join. There you go, guys. Simple as that. See you there. And of course, remember, guys, if you join before the stream is over, you will get that day pass, even though the after party is for members only. I want you to come through.
Downtown Historic Core Business Improvement District. She said the curfew and ongoing protests have hurt business.
It's really tough on the businesses, but at the same time, we really need the curfew to help enforcement, because without it, it's kind of mayhem. What we're trying to do
Yeah, we'll talk about the split on the merch then.
is encourage people to patronize those businesses until that 8 o'clock hour.
Beston said she's hoping the curfew can be pushed back to 9.
We're really looking
Can I stay out till 9, Mom, please?
to keep us supported and hope that people don't look at downtown as just a place for mayhem and demonstrations or protests, but also a place where you can come and really enjoy a great meal, shop, and have a really
Hey, when it's relevant, it's relevant.
unique experience.
What happened? Oh, that's it. I thought we were gonna get. I'm gonna be honest, Funk. I thought that was gonna be a little bit cooler, but all right. Yeah, white leftists, black leftists, gay rightists, Jew hater, you're all welcome, because it's about free speech and it's about getting these ideas out there. And those of us that have better ideas than those who don't have good ideas can show that we have better ideas. Instead of shutting speech down, I was going to say something up with something. Let's cook it up. I don't know. You know what the fuck I mean.
You should have a right to defend your property and your person.
And you should put down the riot by any means necessary.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean more means than necessary. You know what I'm saying? But that's the thing.
He's moving, ladies and gentlemen. He's moving to the dark side. We're gonna get him one piece.
here.
We're gonna get him one piece at a time. We do have to wrap the show
Just
up.
quickly, the libertarian jokes. I was watching your debate the other week, Dave, with I can't remember what his name was, but it was on in one of those. It was on stage on one of those big platforms, and his whole
immigration. Alex Norwashta.
Yeah, his whole argument was that anybody can come to the United States as long as they're healthy and not criminal. So I guess if they don't have like HIV or something super contagious, and as long as they don't have a long criminal record, they can come in. If you try and stop that, then that is tyranny.
Say HIV again.
HIV.
Why'd you say HIV? I can't ever detect if it's your bullshit accent or not, Jake. It's good. It's confusing.
Does it start with an?
How do you not know that every other country that speaks English says H and Z?
Now I'm confusing myself. Does it start with an H or not?
Can you let the man play himself out? Can you let the man play himself out? This is ridiculous. You
got into this petty argument.
Yeah, I got. Okay, blame me. Dave Smith, plug your channel incessantly. Tell everybody where they can find you, where they can buy all your stuff. Do it now.
Big booty Latinas. They definitely can stay if I am president.
Well, thank you guys very much for having me. ComicDaveSmith.com is my website. Partoftheproblem.com is where you can go support my podcast. And then Part of the Problem, it's on all the podcasts, all the places you get podcasts. So thank you guys so much. I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, we really enjoyed having you. You have yourself a wonderful day, Dave. From all of us here at the Crucible to all of you out there in Crucible land, you have a wonderful night.
Right, all right, guys, you know what time it is. Time. It's time for the Swole Goal. Let's give a big shout out to everybody who donated. You guys are fucking amazing. Look at KFT. Playing the system. This is what I want to see, guys. 99 cents here, 99 cents there. It all adds up. It all adds up. Thank you so very, very much. And of course, our boy Funk Master General, gifted memberships, Fox King. We got Indie Film as well doing the damn thing, and of course, Arrow coming through. And yeah, right, that's right. It's my after party. I'll cry if I want to, but I probably won't want to. Oh, so now I'm so beautiful. Now I'm so beautiful that you're thinking about gooning to me. Yikes. Anyway, Jake's from Australia, which does not exist. I'm surprised that I didn't, obviously the Australian accent is pretty simple, but yeah, so here we go. It's $75. I'm rounding down. So I'm doing 30. No, well, okay, fine. Well, I couldn't even make it to 37 last time. So we have 33, but I'm going to do my best. And you guys should also pay yourselves. You paid me. You may as well pay yourself. If you can't do 30 push-ups, then do 20. If you can't do 20, then do 10. If you can't do 10, do 5. If you can't do 5, and you prefer the dumbbells, then do that too. Pay yourselves. It is time for the swole roll. All right, happy birthday, Funk Master General. Let's see. Woo! 34. Let's go. That's too much. Okay, ready? Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. One more, baby. Oh, we got it. We got that last one. Let's go. One more, baby. 35. Let's fucking go. Woo! Holy moly. Put it in the chat. Did I miscount? Fuck! All right, I'm rounding down. I got 2 more then. You know I'm terrible at math. 2 more. 1 and 2. You know what? 1 more. For good luck. We're having some balls. There we go. There we go. Happy birthday to the Bunkmaster General. Woo! Yes, happy birthday. Depends on what kind of racism we talking about. Well, there we go. You trying to come in with the fucking shade? I feel like we could be friends, bro. Come on through to the Discord, guys. The link is pinned to the top. And if you join now, I don't see anybody, but if you join now, you get a free day pass. We are headed to the after party right now. So come on through, guys. Come on through. We do this every single stream. After every Monday, Wednesday, Friday stream, we go in there for the after party every single time. And like we said, you are not stuck behind your keyboard. You're actually on screen with me and everybody else. It is a good time. We've been getting into some interesting arguments. Either way, it is a good time. Come and join us. DJ said, I support racism against Sigmas. Yeah. There you go. Oh, man, doing the damn thing. All right, guys. Thank you. Right here. So we are live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube. We are on X, and we are on Rumble Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Come on through. And, of course, 24/7 hanging out in that Discord server where we are headed right now. Thank you so very, very, very much for all of your support, guys. I really do appreciate it. If you are new here, please do hit that subscribe. Like I said, I'm live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. And, this isn't a news channel. I'm not going to be like, here's what happened today. There's plenty of people that are doing that. The goal here is to get us all, regardless of what your ideas are, regardless of your political affiliation, we should all be better at communicating with each other. And if you don't think that that is the way to improve things, then I would love to talk to you. as to what else we could be doing. But other than that, we will be hanging out there. Thank you once again, guys. This is Morty, who is tired out from that peanut butter, and I have been your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Until next time, guys, we are out of here. Peace.